Yes, Hajra can. So Sama still joining. I'll wait till they join and let's start at around 4:40. Actually, we're going to discuss a third term paper, and I'll be omitting the third term sections. I'm talking about the second term sections only. Just a small clarification. Let me know through the chat. Those who are having the second term test. Did your school tell that the fifth lesson will be coming for the second term test? Yes or no? Did they tell you the fifth lesson, like the HTML lesson? Yes or no? No. Okay, right, perfect. Four lessons, it seems. Okay, that's fine. Hi, from I'll be starting at 4:35, which means in 2 minutes. Let's wait till others join. Okay, I'll give you the option for you. Okay, let's start now. Okay, so what do you call? I hope majority of you know the structure of the paper, but most of the time you take your second term paper. What do you think? Do you have more grade 10 contents or more grade 11 contents, or is it equal? You take your second term ICT paper. What do you think you have more? Do you have grade 10 more or grade 11 more, or is it equal? Exactly. Technically speaking, you have grade 10 more. Okay. In grade 10, there are some significant lessons that are available. For example, there is this lesson called as spreadsheet. There is this lesson called as database. And there is this second lesson called as fundamentals of IT. Okay, these are grade 10 lessons. These are some of the grade 10 lessons that plays a very big role in terms of exam. And in terms of what you call grade 11, again, there are some very, I'm not talking about the average, huh? I'm talking about like very, very important lessons. And in terms of grade 11, obviously, we have our programming lesson. And after programming, the next main lesson is the fifth lesson, which has a bit more marks. Okay. So, technically speaking, if you have an idea of at least, okay, at least these four lessons, if you have a proper idea, you can at least get a averagely good marks even. Okay, not a great mark, but average marks you can get if you have a rough idea of at least these four lessons. But anyways, we are going to cover the whole content, the whole paper, the part two sections today. We'll not be focusing on the part one. We'll be focusing on part two. I will, if you take your paper, I think you're aware. Normally in your part two, in total, how many questions you all are going to get? Yes, in part two, in total, there will be 7 questions. Correct. Should you do all 7 questions? What do you should you do all of these 7 questions? No, you have to do only 5 of them. Out of that 5, you are keeping in mind the first question is that the question number 1 is anyways compulsory. So out of the 7 questions, the first question is compulsory, and from the remaining 6 questions, from that means from question number 2 to question number 7, from the remaining 6 questions, you can choose 4 more. So in total, you'll have to do 5 questions, right? Most of the time, if you take this part, these 4 questions, it will be mixed. What I mean by mixed is it is not mixed, it will be like based on a sub lesson, based on a lesson or based on 2 lessons mostly. They don't mix more than 2 lessons normally. They can, but normally it's based on 1 lesson or else 2 lessons. But if you take this first question, is it based on a specific lesson only? What do you think? Yes, sure. No. The first question is actually a mixed question. Okay. This is where they ask you all the content like grade 10, grade 11, mixed skill of the lessons they are going to ask. Okay. So I'll be first focusing on that mixed question and then let's read for the what do you call remaining ones. Okay. So let's begin now. The first question. From the list of terms given below, choose the answer that best fits the space label A to D in the following passage related to the evolution of the computer. Write down the relevant term against each label in the label dash term format. One thing you want to keep in your mind while doing your papers is read the question properly. Because if they mention like this, to keep your answer in this specific format, if you don't follow their instructions, sometimes the marks will be reduced. So always make sure you're doing the paper to follow the instructions given there. Now they are here mentioning to keep the label dash term format. So you can see here, there's a paragraph given here. In this paragraph, there are certain labels. You can see label the letter A, B, C, D. For the fill in the blanks, they are given 4 labels. You have to figure out what those labels are, and what you should do is you have to make sure you mention the label name and the term matching it. The label name and the term after it. Likewise, you have to write in your answer script. Now, the first thing, the world's first mechanical mathematical machine dash was invented in 1642 by dash in 1642, and it was repetition, I guess. And it was further developed by Gottfried Wilhelm in 1674. Okay. First of all, tell me, what was the first mathematical machine we had? To do, this is related for the first lesson. Huh? In order to do calculations, what was the first machine which we had? One thing I'll ask you, because some of you are saying abacus. If you take abacus, does abacus contain any mechanical stuff inside? Have you ever seen the abacus? This is how the abacus might look like, this like stuff. There is just beads again. There are some beads in it. There is no any mechanism in it. You're going to manually move all those stuff. There is no any mechanism in it. Okay. And also, we don't know who the inventor of what do you call the abacus is as well. Right. So one thing keep in mind, abacus was initially earlier days around 5,000 years ago. Abacus only was used for this what do you call basic calculations, but that is not a mechanical device, right? So that's not the suitable answer. So what do you think is the correct answer? Yeah, correcting it after it. Exactly. It's the adding machine. Okay, adding machine only was the first mechanical calculator. And who made the adding machine? Yes, it was Blaise Pascal who actually made this device, right? It was Blaise Pascal who made the adding machine, right? And then they have mentioned later on, using the punch card system concept, the device name Dash was invented by Dash, and this device was used the concept of input, process, output, and storage. Fine. Now, if you take the punch card system, it was first itself seen in a what do you call it? It was first itself seen in a computer, or was it first seen in a sewing machine? Where was the punch card system first itself noticed? Where do you think this punch card system was first available? Was it available in a computer or was it available in a sewing machine? You might be wondering what's the connection of sewing machine. If you all know that lesson, it will be very easy for you. Exactly. Actually, the punch card system was first itself used in a sewing machine. Okay, it's called the mechanical loom. Right? Let's say have they given an option called mechanical loom here? No, they're not given the mechanical loom, but they have given you a word called weaving machine. Okay, so weaving means sewing. No, Mechanical loom, it was not a computer. Mechanical loom was actually a sewing machine, which means a weaving machine, right? So this punch card system, it was first of all used in this mechanical loom, or you can also mention a weaving machine, right? And what was it used for in this weaving machine? What was the punch card used for in the weaving machine? In the weaving machine, what was it used for? To store what? Yeah, Amil bhai. Exactly. To store the designs, patterns, and all these stuffs in those clothes, that was why this punch card was used. And it was invented by whom? Yes. The punch card system was invented by Joseph Jacquard. Okay, so Joseph Jacquard, he is a person who invented this mechanical loom. And then there was a person who got inspired from this punch card system, and with that inspiration, he made a device. First of all, tell me, who is that person who got inspired from punch card system and made a device? Perfect. It's Charles Babbage. There is this fellow called Charles Babbage. He's a person who saw this punch card system which was used in his weaving machine. He was like, Shah, they're using punch cards to store designs now. Why don't we use this concept in our scenario? And he used punch card systems to store data in the first computer created. There was a special name we give for Charles Babbage. What is that? Here a special name. What was the special name Charles Babbage had? Sorry, there was a small network glitch. Ignore that. Yeah. What do you call, if you take Charles Babbage, he invented the first computer. Because he invented the first computer only, he was called the father of computing. What was the first computer he made? What was the name of that computer he made? Yes, that's called the analytical engine. Perfect. Okay. The first computer he made, it was called the analytical engine. Okay, so that was all regarding the first lesson. As long as you know the ABCD one, you're perfect to go. Always keep in mind for the analytical engine, the program was written by the lady programmer, and her name was Madam Ada Augusta Lovelace. Okay, let's go for the next one. If you have any questions, drop them in the chat. Okay. It is required to set up a network with 5 computers named A, B, C, D, E, a network switch, router. Should we write the answers? Yeah, you can write you should write the answers like A, B, C, like this one. Okay. I'll send the paper after the class. Yeah. So it is required to set up a network with 5 computers named A, B, C, D, and E. A network switch, router, and necessary cables are provided. Draw a network diagram to connect these 5 computers by ring topology using only necessary devices. Okay. Now they are saying they want to make a network, it seems. And they have 5 computers, it seems. Right? A, B, C, D, E are the name of those computers. Apart from these computers, they have a switch as well, a router, and some cables. Now, tell me, if you take a ring, and also they have mentioned they have to connect the computers in ring topology. If you take a ring topology, in ring topology, do we use a network switch? No. In ring topology, do we use a router? Again, no. In ring topology, what happens is all the devices are going to be connected one another, which means let's say I have 5 computers: the computer A, computer B, computer C, computer D, and computer E. In ring topology, what happens is each of these computers are going to be connected with one another in something like this. This is how the ring topology would be like. Okay. So as the question says, they want the network to be in a ring topology. This is how your diagram should be. Okay. The shape, you can use anything you want. Now, I have used circles here to represent the computer. You can use any other shapes you want as well. But keep in mind to use only the necessary devices. They have mentioned here to use only necessary devices. Just because they have mentioned switch and router, you don't have to use it. Okay. Normally, you use a switch in what type of topology? Yes, normally you might use the switch mostly in the star topology only. Okay, in star topology only you might use the switch. And then in terms of router, normally if you're going to have a local area network, we don't use the router. For example, if it's going to know most of the topologies we learned were regarding local area networks. So if it's a local area network, we don't have to have a router. If you want to have a metropolitan area network, man, that is where you will need a router or a WAN. Okay, for local area network, a router is not needed because here we are talking about a wired connection. Router is needed for a wireless connection. It's better, Aisha. Okay. Is that clear, all of you? Got the idea? So these are regarding topologies, which is available in your second lesson. If you have any questions, drop them in the chat. Note the data transition media label from P to S. So you can see here they have given certain devices. The P looks like a, is it correct to say router connects to a network, connects a network to internet? No. A network is connected to the internet using a modem. Modem is what connects a network to the internet. What router does is, router is also like the switch only. The main difference between router and switch is a switch is used to connect devices in a local area network, which is wiredly. So, switch is used to connect devices in a wired manner. And if you take router, router is used to connect devices in a wireless manner. Normally, the dotted lines means wireless, and dot straight line means wired. Okay, so router is normally used. Again, Wi-Fi is a connection. Router is a device. We are talking about the device here. So Wi-Fi is just a connection. It's not the mainly the. I mean, we say Wi-Fi router, right? So it's just one thing. But mainly we use a Wi-Fi or router. Both are going to be the same only. To let's put Wi-Fi router here. You can use a Wi-Fi router here to connect the devices together. Okay. Wi-Fi is in the router. Actually, you can have without Wi-Fi router. We can have the Wi-Fi. What do you call without data connection as well for this network. Huh? That means you know data connection. You have the data you reload, right? This network will work even if there is no data as well. Like if you don't have data, also it will work. That's how it's got it. Difference between switch and hub. Imagine of a normal switch. Imagine you have here four bulbs. Okay, and there is a wire or there is a battery. Okay, let's say I have from this battery, I'm taking one terminal. So let's see the battery. I'm taking one terminal for the what do you call, let's say, negative side, and one terminal for the positive side. Okay, now I have here four things, four bulbs. Now, if I take these four bulbs and using a wire, if I connect it for the negative and positive, negative and positive, negative and positive, what will happen is the bulb will start lighting up. The bulb will start lighting up. But I won't be able to control to, let's say, on only this of these two, or on only this of these two. I won't be able to control it specifically to what bulb to give current and what bulb not to give current. But if I include a switch, I can do it, right? Similarly, if you have this network as well, to connect devices together in a wired manner, there is a device called the switch and there's a different device called the hub. In hub, what happens is all the devices connected, they will be able to interact with each other. So let's say there's four devices. connected using the switch, sorry, using the hub, all of them can share data seamlessly. But if you are using a switch, what you can do is you can control whether this computer should have access or this computer should have access to the network, this computer should have access. You can control who can share the data and who cannot share the data can be controlled using a switch, but using a hub, you can't control it. Got it, Kamina? Right. So here they are given you certain what you call diagrams. The first one is regarding satellite. And the second diagrams looks like, the third diagram looks like fiber optics. And QNS both looks like, okay, this looks like shielded twisted pair. No, fiber optics is third one because the diagram is not clear. It looks like a coaxial cable also, it looks like fiber optics also. Because in fiber optics cable, you have this, if it's, I need the color to exactly tell it. If it's just a copper line going here, this is going to be a coaxial cable. Okay, yes, the first one is microwave. Satellite is example of microwave. So coaxial cable, shielded twisted pair, micro optical fiber, radio wave, unshielded twisted pair. It's actually shielded. So what is the question given here? Match shield. Okay, so shielded twisted pair anyway is going to go face because you can see there's a shield here. And in terms of the picture clarity, let me see. I have the paper with me. Page 251. Let's see the picture clearly. Based on the picture given, the R looks like the coaxial cable. So R looks like the coaxial cable, and P looks like the microwave. In terms of Q, it looks like the unshielded twisted pair. Okay, Q looks like the unshielded twisted pair. Tell me, Wi-Fi is an example of what type of media? Is it microwave, or is it radio wave, or is it infrared? Wi-Fi comes under which type of media? Wi-Fi and Bluetooth comes under radio waves. Huh? Keep that in your mind. Okay, next question. See, up to now, most of the questions, up to now, the two questions we discussed was regarding the second lesson. So, second lesson is a bit important comparatively. Next, convert the octal value 3174 base 8 to hexadecimal. Show your calculations correctly. Now, if you look at this number 3174, first of all, tell me what type of number is it? Is it a decimal number, or is it a binary number, or is it a hexadecimal number? What type of number is that? Yes, 3174, it's actually an octal number. How do you know it's octal number? Perfect, because they have used the base 8. Now tell me, from octal, they're asking us to convert it to hexadecimal. Is there any direct method we can convert it to hexadecimal? No, there is no indirect method. So we have two alternatives. What we can do is we can convert this to decimal and convert decimal to hexadecimal, or we can convert it to binary. Now tell me what is more easy, convert into decimal or convert into binary? Yes. If we convert this to binary and convert that binary value to hexadecimal, that's going to be comparatively more easy. Now, if you go and see behind history of octal numbers, you know an octal number is formed by the combination of 3 bits. So there is another name for octal number system. We also call it a 3-bit number system. The reason we call it 3-bit number system is because behind every digit there is 3 bits actually hidden. The word bit means a binary digit. So behind number 4 there are 3 binary digits. Behind number 7 there are 3 binary digits. Behind number 1, behind number 3, behind all these digits there are actually certain binary digits. So to figure out that, what you can do is, first of all, you write all these numbers separately, something like this. Now if there are 3 bits, you can easily figure out what are those 3 bits used using a simpler method. That is, every bit will have something called place values. Now if I'm going to explain all of those stuff, it's going to take a time, so forget about that and just focus on the method which I'm going to follow. So what I'm going to do is, below each and every digit I'm going to write 124 124 124 124. Okay. Now, to form the number 4 out of these 3 digits, tell me what are the digits I will need to form the number 4. Exactly, I will need 4 only. Similarly, tell me in the second pair, second triplet, to form number 7, what are the digits I have to add together? Exactly, I have to add all 3 of them. In this pair, what are the digits I have to add together to form the number 1? Number 1 only. And in this pair, what are the digits I have to add together to form a number 3? 2 and 1. Now what you're going to do is, below the numbers you're going to use, below the number you circle, write 1. Below the numbers you did not circle, write 0. So the binary value of this is going to be 0, 1, 1, 0, 1, 1, 1, 1, 0. If you put all of them together, you're going to get the binary value equivalent to it, right? Yes, Zahin, it's accepted. So 1, 1, 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 0, base 2. So we have here the equivalent binary value. So these are equivalent binary value. Now, to convert binary to hexadecimal, again, you know what the meaning of hexadecimal? No? No, sir, I don't give you the paper. After the seminar, I'll give you the paper. Okay. Now tell me, to convert from binary to hexadecimal, what should we actually do? We have to group these bits into how many bits? How many bits by how many bits? Each group should have how many bits? Yes, each group should have 4 bits, because hexadecimal is actually called as a 4-bit number system. So these 4 bits are going to represent a specific digit, and then these 4 bits are going to represent another digit. And we have here only 3 bits. To make it a complete set, I'll just add another bit in front. And these 4 bits are going to represent another digit. So if you want to figure out what this number is, what you can again do is, below every, you can first let's take them separately. So we have 0, 1, 1, 0. We have 0, 1, 1. And we have 1, 1, 0, 0. What we are going to do is, below each digit, we are going to write 1, 2, 4, 8. Wherever there is 0, just cut these place values. This 1 to 4 is actually place values. Wherever there is 0, just cut the place value and write the sum of the remaining. In the first set, the remaining sum is 4 plus 2, which is 6. Second set, the sum of remaining is 4 plus 2 plus 1, which is 7. And what is the sum of the third set? It's actually giving us 12. How do we represent 12 in hexadecimal? So in hexadecimal, A is representing number 10, B is representing number 11, and C is representing 12. So 8 plus 4 is 12, means we don't write 12 here, we write C. Okay. So the answer is going to be 67C base 16. This is how you do. Okay. So first step what I did is I converted to binary. And second step what I did is I converted from binary to hexadecimal. Tell me, I will clear here all of you. Yes. So here the answer is going to be 67C. If there's anyone of you having any doubts regarding other number conversions or even any of these conversions, I did a seminar regarding number conversions earlier. You can actually find that on YouTube. Like, I'll just show it to you. Go to YouTube and search Master IT. See, there's a seminar done here called number conversion. So if you go through that, you can get the whole idea of all the conversions, right? Anyways, let's continue. Next, below is an extract from the ASCII table. Find the binary value of each of the ASCII value represented by the character, by the AND character. What is it, either? Okay. Now they have told you the character n, it's represented in decimal using the number 80, hexadecimal 50. They are asking you what is the ASCII value of it. Normally, if you take ASCII, what we are meaning by ASCII is how we can represent that value in how many bits. ASCII is a representation of a value in how many bits? Exactly, using 7 bits. Now, I want, when you say 7 bits, what does the word bit means? What does the word bit actually mean? A bit means what? Exactly, a bit means a binary digit. So indirectly, what they're asking us to do is we are asking us to convert this decimal number to binary, okay, or even you can convert the hexadecimal number to binary, right? And keep the answer in 7 bits. Now tell me what is easy. Converting hexadecimal to binary is easy or decimal to binary is easy? Obviously, hexadecimal to binary is very easy. So let's take the hexadecimal and convert it. Okay, let's take the hexadecimal number and convert it. So I have number 50 in base, if 50 is in base 16, each in hexadecimal, what happens is each digit is represented by 4 bits. So I'm going to find what is the 4 bits behind this, what is the 4 bits behind this. Okay, so number 5, number 0. Again, to find what are those 4 bits, I just write 1248. In octal, it's 124. In hexadecimal, it's 1248. Keep that in your mind. Okay. So to form the number 5, what are the digits I have to add together out of these 4? Exactly, 4 and 1. To form the number 0, in this second set, should I add any numbers together? No. So basically, below the numbers we use, below the numbers we are going to use write 1. Below the numbers we don't use write 0. And we found a binary number. But if you look at the whole set here, so if you look at this whole thing here, in total we have here 0, 1, 0, 1, 1, 2, 3, 4. How many bits I have here? In total, count and say. Exactly. You can see there are 8 bits here. If you take ASCII, in ASCII, we don't represent a number using 8 bits. We always make sure we represent by 7 bits. So you can see in the left side corner, we have a 0. You can ignore that 0 and write the final answer as 101, 1, 2, 3, 4 base 2. This is going to be your answer. Again, here what I did is I converted from hexadecimal. If you want, you can convert this decimal number to binary as well. Method is different, but you can convert 80 to decimal, 80 to binary, and you will be getting the same answer that's given here as well. Is that clear, all of you? What if the value on the left was 1? What do you mean by left was 1? You mean 10 base 16? That 8 place 0. You mean, there, you will never get it. You will never get an ASCII number like that. If you get a number like that, that's not an ASCII number. It's a ABCDIC. You will never get an ASCII value where you will have here 1. Don't worry. If you get it 1, because what is the largest number you can represent ASCII? ASCII is 7 bits. So largest number you can represent is what you call 255. If you want, you can write the base. If you don't want, you can ignore the base as well, because we anyways know it's ASCII. But if you want, just write the base, not issue. Okay. Okay, so Amar, you will never get a question. If you get a question with 1, either the question is wrong or they're referring to ABCDIC. For example, there was one question, I can't remember which paper, but Tamil medium paper I came across. There they had that issue. They were asking ASCII, but the last digit had a 1. So it was a printing mistake. If you had gone and seen the equivalent other medium paper, it was ABCDIC. Amar, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. What is the value of this in decimal? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Yeah. 64, 128. 255. So the largest number you can represent as is 255. Do we get EBCDIC calculation? I have never seen an EBCDIC calculation as I can remember, but if they want, they can give you. Nothing big, the same thing, just convert it to binary. If they told decimal here, convert decimal to binary. If they give hexadecimal, convert it to binary. Only one thing you want to keep in mind, ASCII you keep your answer in 7 bits. EBCDIC means 8 bits. Unicode means 16 bits. Simple. Try the WhatsApp me. Okay. Next, I have not seen the Sara, but they can give if they want. Is that clear of you? ABCD is 8 bits. So there is BCD, which represent in 4 bits, and ASCII 7 bits, and EBCDIC 8 bits, and then Unicode, how many bits? 16 bits. Which question is very easy to score marks? I will tell the whole paper is very easy if you study. Okay, next question. Draw the logic circuit corresponding to the Boolean expression given below. So they have given you a Boolean expression and they're asking you to I can't remember Fatima. I did I, but I can't remember where is it. Yeah. Okay. They're asking you to show the logic gate. Right. Done. Asana? Okay. Next. To do this question, first of all, you have to be thorough with the gates as well. Okay. You can do this in two ways. You can see here there is a dot a holding dash plus b dash dot b blah 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 blah. The first thing you do in this kind of question is first of all figure out what are the letters given here, or in different terms, what are the Boolean values given here. What are the alphabets you can see here in this whole section, in this whole Boolean expression? Exactly. There is alphabetic letter called A and there's alphabetic letter called B. First of all, write this because sometimes you might get marks even for just mentioning this as well. Second thing, you can see they have given here the AND gate, OR gate, blah, 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 all these stuffs, right? Normally, when you're doing these questions, there is an order you have to follow. The first preference you have to give for the brackets. Second preference you have to give for the NOT gate. Third preference you can give for the AND gate or as NAND gate. Both are having equal preference. And last preference you give for the OR gate or as an OR gate. Now in this scenario, do we have a brackets? Have they used any brackets? Yes. So we are going to focus on this brackets first. Inside this bracket, if you notice, you can see there is a NOT gate for B dash plus for OR gate, and this whole thing dash is again a NOT gate. So first of all, I'm going to focus on this B dash. To make B become B dash, it's going to go to the NOT gate. Now I have B dash here. Okay. I have B dash here and I have B here, right? This is going to have B dash because it's going to the NOT gate, and this is going to have B because it's before the NOT gate. And you can see these two, it's going through OR gate as well as the NOT gate. You have two methods for this. Either you can mention like this. First of all, the OR gate, and that is going to become B dash plus B. After that, sorry, OR gate. First of all, the OR gate, which is going to make B dash plus B, and the final answer through the NOT gate is also possible. But without using two gates here, there is an alternative which we can use as well. What is that gate? Without drawing the OR gate and the OR gate result going through a NOT gate, there's one gate which can replace this. What is that gate? Yes, that is a not NOR gate. Okay. So what I can do is without mentioning OR and not both, I can simply use NOR gate only. Again, both are correct. Both are correct, but let's use this NOR gate. So if I use NOR gate here, now I will have the value I'll have here is B dash plus B whole thing dash. I have solved this bracket. Done. Now tell me, should I focus on this, what do you call OR gate, plus this OR gate, no? Or should I focus on this? Now, first of all, before that, tell me, if there is dot here and whole thing dash, what is the gate used? Dot as well as whole thing dash. Yes, only dot is AND gate, only dash is not gate, but you can see dot and whole thing dash, this is representing the NAND gate. Now tell me, as per the order I told you all here, should I focus on this NAND gate first or this OR gate first? Yes, I have to focus on this NAND gate first. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to create a dot a whole thing dash. So for that, I'm going to do something like this. Okay, take a separately like this into two and pass it through an AND gate. Now I have a dot a whole thing dash. Okay. Now both of these values, this a dot a whole thing dash and this b dash plus b whole thing dash, they are going to pass through the OR gate. You can see the both thing that's connecting both of them is OR gate. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to connect this using the OR gate and put F there. I don't have space properly, but that's how the diagram is going to look like. All of you look at this whole thing and tell me, are you all clear on how I drew this? Yes or no? So this whole section is by this, and this whole thing is done by this, and this part is done by this, and the overall, yes, Sahil, is done by this. Perfect. Write the value of n when a equals 1 and b equals 1. Is the order necessary? Because by the way, it's the same thing now. What do you mean by the order? Your end result should be correct. As long as the end result is correct, you're good to go. Let's see. The next question is saying, find the value of f when a equals 1 and b equals 1. So let's say a is 1, b is 1. Okay. If a is 1, in the top post, it's going to have here 1. In the bottom post, it's going to have here 1. Okay. Now, before we found the value of the pink color gate, first of all, tell me, what do you call if a is 1, if that pink color was the AND gate, what will be the result? I have highlighted using pink color here now. The pink highlighted one. If it was an AND gate, what would have been the result? Yes, AND gate, the result would have been 1. But here they have used NAND gate. NAND gate will give you the opposite of AND gate, no? So based on that, tell me, if I use NAND gate, what should be the result? NAND gate is going to give me 0. So I'm going to mention here 0. Similarly, this 1 is going to go through the NOT gate. So it becomes 0 here. The 1 is going to directly come down. So 1. First of all, tell me, if the blue color was OR gate, what will the OR gate give me if one of the input was 0, other input was 1? The blue color was OR gate, it will give me, yes, OR gate will give me 1. But because we have used NOR gate here, which is opposite of OR gate, what will the NOR gate give you? NOR gate is going to give you 0. So we have 0 here. Now the yellow color gate we have is OR gate. So if both the inputs for the OR gate is going to be yellow, so you're going to be 0, what's going to be the result of this OR gate? It's going to give you 0. So then you can say the value of when A equals 1 and B equals 1, what is the answer? It's going to be exactly, it's going to be 0. And that's how you do these kind of questions. Got it, all of you? Yeah. Yes, Sarah. No any workings needed. If you know any workings needed, but if you want, you can just draw it here like how I did. Better if you can do that in pencil, like how I did 1 1 0 0 to get that. No workings needed. There is nothing such as that, Sarah, at the moment. What is it, Aisha? Okay, next question. Write whether the following statements are true or false about computer operating system. Managing hardware and other software is one of the main functions of an operating system. Correct. So operating system has two main functions. One is providing the interface. Other one is managing your hardware. So that's going to be a true statement. Next, computer memory is managed by an operating system. Yes, your RAM, also known as computer memory, it is managed by your operating system. Okay, we call it as there is a part of managing hardware. There is process management, memory management, network management. There are 6 parts. Out of them, managing your computer's memory. Mainly, when you talk about computer memory, we are mainly referring to the RAM. Okay, so managing our computer's memory, that is a part of the operating systems. That's also true. Each operating system provides a user-friendly interface. Yeah, it provides the interface, but you can't guarantee that it's a user-friendly. But okay, you can consider that as true. Okay, there are some interface which looks so useless. But anyways, let's take it as true, will you? Windows 10 is a multitasking operating system. What do you think that statement is? True or false? Windows 10 is it a multitasking operating system? Yes, Amma. It's also a true statement. And those who are telling me false, while you're watching a YouTube video, can't you go and what do you call play music in Spotify in your computer? Or let's say when you're what do you call checking your WhatsApp in your computer, can't you go and open your browser? Or no, if you notice at the moment, even my Zoom is open, my browser is open, my YouTube is going live, my clock is running, WhatsApp notifications are going. The whole computer is being multitasking, right? AOS with GUI only has who said even actually command line interface is more user friendly than a GUI. User friendly means basically it's easy to use. It's called UX. If you're in my class, I would have told a word called UX. That's what we mainly talk about user friendly. But it doesn't. It can be any type of interface. That's unknown. I don't have to think about this deep, but just but you call all these statements are true. C is false. I think how all true impossible. If all the statements are true, it's true. So suppose if I put false for C, it's wrong. Yes, sir, I think I can remember. Okay, next. At least one should be false. What is it? What? Who told you that at least one should be false? You're like still making up your own stupid theories. Next. A part of word processing text document with some formatting is shown below. Below tools are some of the formatting toolbar available in the word processing software. So they're asking what is the tool used for P2V and okay, so we have here identify from P2V corresponding tool for each format task in the right on the corresponding icon label for labels 1 to 4. Okay, for 1 to 4, we have to figure out what are the labels we have to use. Now, if you take 1 and 2, there are two changes you can see. Tell me the two formattings. The formatting means changes. Huh? What are the two changes you can notice for this? The text has been what and what? Yes, the text has been bold. Apart from that, the text has been yes, the text has been underlined as well. The text has got underlined as well. So the bold, what is the tool we have to use out of PQRSTUV? What is the tool we have to use to make it bold? To bold, we are use a tool S. And then to underline, what is the tool we are going to use? We're going to use the tool Q. So this is going to be S and Q. Next, on the insert tab, blah blah blah. Okay, they have given a paragraph. In the paragraph, the first letter you can see, we call it hanging indentation. Actually, hanging indentation. We call this as it comes under one part of indentation. Like the first letter, it's I forgot the exact name of it. Okay, but yeah, you can do this number three using which tool? Wrap text. Yes, text wrapping. What is the tool for text wrapping? It's the tool U. Okay, tool U is used for something called as text wrapping. See, letter O is coming for the first line as well as second line. We call it text wrap. And then if you take number 4, that is done using which tool? We call it as text wrap. Yes, the tool number 4 is done by the tool T. Okay, tool T, which is called bullet list. So A is called what we call font size tool. U is the underline tool. So P is the Q is the underline tool. R is the italic tool. S is the bold tool. This is called the bullet list tool, and this is called the number list tool. Both are same also. Next. So your market expectedly 1 and 2 is Q, 3 is U, 4 is T. Some of the tools used in a 2D animation software and their functions are shown in the following table. For each tool, match the corresponding function, write the corresponding function label in front of the tool number. Okay. I think I gave the same question in your semester exams. I think I would have certified it from here only. Sure, I can remember. Okay. Anyways, what do you call? To change the dimension, rotate, or change the shape of the object, what is the tool you're going to use? One, two, three, or four? Yes, that's going to be the tool four. Okay. And that's called scale tool, right? And then to cut or remove shapes or pictures on the workstage. Yeah, actually not to exactly cut or remove. To select, you can select and then cut. So this tool is used to select actually, but after selecting, you can cut as well. I don't know. Used to erase only a selection. You can select using this tool. This tool is used to select actually. So after you select, you can remove it. To cut or remove shapes or pictures on a workstage. I'm going to match that with the tool too. And only because using if you take D, they're talking about only a section of the creation. No? Only a section. Sorry, not selection. It's section. So I did a selection. Then this is going to match with B, and this is going to match with B. Okay, because you can how cut, remove, or shapes of pictures. If there are shapes or pictures, you can select it using the lasso tool and or call free tool, and you can remove it. So B is going to match with 3, and then used to add text to the workstage. That's going to be tool number 1. So if you match it correctly, 1 is going for C, 2 is going for D, 3 is going for B, and 4 is going for A. This is regarding 2D animation tools. Anyone have any questions here? What's the maximum characters in ASCII and EBC? ASCII 255, EBC 511. Can you show the whole page? Yeah. Anyone having any questions here? ASCII you can represent 255. ASCII has 128, sorry, 2 to the power 7. The highest value in ASCII is 127, 128. It's the same Z. 128, sorry. What do you mean, Nabia? My mistake. 1, 2, 4, 8, 16, 30, 64. It should be 128 because it's 1, 2, 4, 8, 16, 30, 64. So 127, sorry. 128 because 000 is also a number. So this should be 128. 256 is EBCDIC because I did not consider 0. Like there is one number which calls 0000. I did not consider this. If you consider 000, it's another number. So if you include 0 as well, it's 256, not 255. I earlier told without 0. Using bits, you can form those ones. Sir, I'll show the end, okay? Okay, next. Indicate whether the following statements about spreadsheet softwares are true or false. It is sufficient to indicate the label of the statement and whether it's true or false. Okay. Okay. Before entering phone number, the cell range should be formatted as numbers. Is it compulsory to do this? No, it is not compulsory. Okay. So I'm going to mention it's false because they mentioned should. It is not compulsory. I'm going to mention false. Next, the $D3 is a row absolute cell reference. Now the word absolute means like the indirectly fixed. Okay, so dollar symbol is used to keep the something fixed. If the dollar symbol is there in front of the column name is fixed. If the dollar symbol is there in front of the row number, row is fixed. Now if you look at the dollar symbol here, is it front of the row number? No, it is front of what? The column name. So this is called column absolute cell reference, not row absolute. It's called column absolute cell reference. So this is actually again false. In row absolute, it looks something like this. This is what you call row absolute. XY scatter charts are used to compare data items in pair. Is that statement true? Yes, that statement is true. You can compare data in pairs in XY scatter chart. So for example, let's say I want to show here the sales of our company in every year. So I can have here, let's say January, every month, February, March, till I can have here one. And here I can have the values. For example, let's say I'm going to mention here, what do you call, let's say 100,000, 200,000, 300,000. Kill, I'm going to mention values here. Now I can represent, let's say in 2000, I can tell red color is going to be representing 2023, and I can say orange color is representing 2024. So I can tell in January we had sales of, in 2023 it was, in January we had 100,000, in February we had 150,000, in March we had 200,000. Now I'm going to say if you take what you call 2024, in January we had 200,000, in February we had a small drop off and it became 150,000. And I'm going to say in March it went to what you call 300,000. So you can see as a pair. Not only pair, you can even do in triplets as well. If you take XY scatter chart, this is how the XY scatter chart would look like. Okay. So that statement is true. Zahin, in that case, that's called row and column absolute. Sorry, column and row absolute. If they put dollar in front of both, it's called column and row, not only row. Data can be easily entered in the inactive cell. Okay, what do you first of all mean by active cell? The cell that has been selected. Okay, the word active cell means the cell that has been selected. Now, without selecting a cell, can you enter data into it? As per your syllabus, no. As per your syllabus, the answer is going to be no. There is a way you can do, but that's not there in your syllabus. So as per your syllabus, you can't enter data unless you select it. So based on this, that question is going to be false. Right? So answer is going to be false, false, true, and false. Clear all of you? Perfect. Next. Task related to sending an email letter labeled P2S. Match the correct terms in the terms of match the correct terms in the list of terms below in front of each label. Write its correct corresponding term in the form of label dash term form. Okay, it's a matching question, right? Yeah. The email address of the person to whom copy should be sent is mentioned in the email message. Okay. When you want to send copies of an email, there are two things you can choose from. One is carbon copy and blind carbon copy. The main difference between carbon copy and blind carbon copy is that if I add your email as a carbon copy, everyone will know that you got a copy. Everyone will know that you got a copy. But if I add as a blind carbon copy, only the sender will know that you got a copy. Other people will not know. Okay. Only sender will know. Here, everyone will know. Now, here they are not specifically mentioned whether it's only sender or whether it's what you called everyone. So I'm going to mention here CC. That P is going to be representing CC, which stands for carbon copy. Okay. So can we send to multiple people like that? Yes, you can have multiple CC, you can have multiple BCC as well. Okay. Can BCC see the CC? Yes. CC can be seen by everyone. I said everyone. Everyone means BCCP can see, CC can see, remain receiver can see, sender can see. Everyone can see that they have got a copy. But BCC, only the sender will know that they got a copy. Can BCC see BCC? Are you failed in English? When I say only sender can see, Does that mean the other BCC can see? What a question. There was an NCQ regarding this in the term paper. I can't remember. Yeah. There was two questions. Actually, both answers are, I think, BCC and BCC. What does only sender can see BCC means? Which means, let's say I'm going to send the email for, no, there are 80 students, out of these 80, I want to say mainly send the email for 10 people. And apart from this 10 people, I want to send, there are 70 remaining, for 35 students, I want to send a, what do you call, carbon copy of the email. And the remaining 35 students, I want to send a blind carbon copy. Now, there are 10 people who are as a main receiver, they are the main receivers. So the two place I'll go and add there. So in the email section, there's two CC and BCC. Now these two people are there, right? The two people will know all the two people who got the email and all the CC people who got the email. They will know that these are the main. For example, let's say Rihan is one of the two people. He will know that the remaining nine people, their names he will know, as well as he will know the remaining CC people as well. On the other hand, if you take the CC people, like let's say Mariam Shah is a CC person. So she will know that there were 10 people who got the two, and she will know all 10 people's email as well. And she will know, apart from her, who are the other nine people who got the CC as well. Okay. If you do the BCC person, let's say what you call Adil got BCC, Adil will know that he got BCC. Apart from him, he will know all the CC people and all the two people. But will he know the other BCC people? Let's say apart from Adil, I send Alia, also what you call BCC, Amina also BCC. Will he know that those two people got? No. If you really want to know who are all the BCC people, only the sender will know who all the BCC people are. Got it? So BCC is private, others all are public. Keep that in your mind. The copy of the email will display the email address of everyone to whom the email was sent to the recipient. The copy of the email address will display the email addresses of everyone whom the email was sent. The address of the person to whom copy should be sent. The email address of the person to whom copy should be sent is mentioned CC. The copy of the email message will display the email addresses of everyone. Copy of the email message will display the email addresses of everyone to whom the email was sent to the recipient. That's two basically. The main recipients are called written in two. Okay. But they mention copy of the email. Both are wait. That's also going to be CC. Because here also they mentioned to whom copies should be sent is mentioned in the email message. So for whom you want to send copies, you add their copies in the CC section. The copy of the email will display the email addresses of everyone to whom the email was sent. The copy of the email message will display the email addresses of everyone to whom the email was sent to the recipient. The English is a bit upset here. Provincial paper. The most full answer is CC because they mentioned copy, and also they mentioned that it will display email addresses of everyone. But the fun fact is even the P is talking about the same thing. Maybe in this situation, that's how we are do it. So I'm going to mention it for both CC. Can't it be the sender? No, they are saying this copy. They are talking about the copy of the emails. They are talking in this specific copy. As an email address of everyone to whom the email was sent, it will display the email address of everyone who was sent to the recipient. So the recipient means receivers. So it asking in this copy, you can see all those who received the email. So all those who receive the email, you can see that in CC as well. Okay, only in, I mean, even the two also will show all the people. Even the BCC will show all the people except except BCC. But so technically, they're asking the copy of the event message will display. So two is not copy, so that's why I removed two. And the reason I removed BCC is because again, if there's a BCC person, you will not have you will be able to display everyone's. Okay, no, I got the question. Apart from this, what you call CC copy and BCC copy, a sender will also be able to see a copy of the message he sent. A sender will be able to see a copy of the message he sent in which section of the email. In the same email, we have right sender, receiver, what do you call send, sorry, send, inbox, all those stuffs. Yes. So the sender will have a copy of what he sent in the sent section. So if he goes and see the sent section, will he be able to see all the two receivers? Will he be able to see all the CC receivers? Will he be able to see all the BCC receivers? Yes. So the person who can see all these stuffs is only the sender, right? So copy of the email will display the everyone for whom the email was sent to the recipient. The most suitable answer there is the sender, but they are not given the word send there. They are given sent. Sent is a section. It's not sender. Or it should be from. In your email, there's a section called from. If you take my email, I'm pretty sure your emails you don't have this section, but in my email I have this section called from. I'll show you because I have connected multiple emails and kept. I'm sending an email. I'm composing an email. I'll show it to you all now. Right. You have a section called from as well. Just to cover my emails, I'm going to use a chat. But if you take here, if I go to compose, I don't believe the vertical marking scheme, Sarah. If I go to compose, I have here a section. What do you call? Let me just take up a bit. Okay, I have to show it. Dun, 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 dun. If I go to my compose, I have a section called from as well. I can choose what email address to send the email from. But technically, the from person only can see all the recipients. That's the funniest part. But let's see. I didn't see the opening number. But yeah. So the copy of the email message will display the email addresses of everyone who the email was sent to. How do you do that magic? I'm going to keep that as CC. I feel like there is a spelling mistake here. It should have been a copy of the message will display the email address of everyone to whom the email was sent, except the recipient, except the BCC, except the or not the recipient. They should have used. They should have mentioned the word that the recipient's email is not mentioned. Something like that. The word not has to be used. I feel like then only it can be BCC because BCC others will not know. So I'm going to keep there as a hold question. There's a mistake of the wordings, so I'm going to keep them on hold. Next, but again it should be CC only most probably. The store emails that are composed to be sent but not completed. That is the in which section is it stored? You have typed it but not sent it. No, in a different paper. Yes, that's the in the draft section. And then if you go to which section can you see the emails that are unwanted? Sir, what's the exact word for Q? Just check and send me. Ah, okay, check. The unwanted are there in the spam section. Yes. Wait, let me check the single and medium paper. In single and medium paper, they have mentioned for Q. විද්‍යුත් තැපැල් පණිවිඩයේ පිටපට ලබන්නට එම විද්‍යුත් ලිපිනේ යවන ලද සියලු දෙනාගේ විද්‍යුත් තැපැල් ලිපින දර්ශන වේ. විද්‍යුත් තැපැල් පණිවිඩයේ පිටපතට ලබන්නාට එම විද්‍යුත් ලිපිය යවන ලද සියලු දෙනාගේම විද්‍යුත් තැපැල් ලිපින දර්ශනය වේ. If they can see all the receivers, then it's a 2 and CC. Both of them can see. Because they have mentioned, and the first one they have mentioned is විද්‍යුත් තැපැල් පණිවිඩයේ පිටපත් යටේ යුතු අයගේ විද්‍යුත් තැපැල් ලිපිනය සඳහන් වේ. The actually first one should be 2 and second one should be what you called see, as per this first one should be actually 2 and second one should be CC, because the first one they have mentioned about copy. Then Vidyut Epal means email Panividye Pitapat. In section you can see the Yavi Vidyut Epal Lipine Sadahan way. So Yavi Yutu means all the receivers. If you can see all the receivers, main receivers, they're talking about 2. And second one is talk about Panividi Pilamata, Emma Vidu Dipiniana, Seal Dinagim with Tepel Dipin Darashneve, that's easy. Anyways, that question has a mistake. So I'm going to ignore it for the Q. Unwanted are there in the spam. Trash is there only once you delete it, okay? It will go for the trash only if you delete an email. Keep that in your mind. Any other questions anyone have here? In MCQ, how to find it? I don't understand how to find it. Which one? A separate question. I discussed it in the previous session, so I'm going to keep that hold. Okay, next. No, something else, I know. But relevant to the second term. Consider the following Pascal program. Write suitable words for the label A, B, C, and D there. Okay. First of all, they have mentioned the program name, and then they have mentioned month, integer, season, something else. Normally, if this month and season here, they're actually called as variables. Okay. In a program, variables are used to store the data, right? So this month and this one, these are the variable names or as an identifier. I'll call them as variable identifier. That means the variable names which you use to identify them. This integer that is there here, right? This is called the data type. Okay. Now, if you want to define a variable like this, you have to use the word var first. So A should be actually var, but let's see, is it just only var or are they defining another variable as well? Just go through this whole program and tell me, apart from month and season, have they mentioned any other variables? How to identify that they are variables? If they're going to use to store a value. So like, for example, x equals, then we are giving a value to x. So if they're mentioning something is equal or giving or storing something, so obviously it's going to be a variable. Yeah, there is no other variable, so A is going to be var. Okay. And then what do you think B? Now, if you take what you call Pascal, there are different data types we have. Integer, we have what you call string, we have what you call Boolean, we have different data types. If you take the season variable, you can see it is stored in the word spring, it is stored in the word summer, it is stored in the word autumn and winter. So if it's going to store like this text kind of data, what is the data type of that called as? Var means variable. If you want to create a variable, you use this keyword called var first, and then only mention the names and the data type. Yes, spring, summer, autumn, winter, they are actually called string. Okay, so string can contain a collection of text. It can be your name, your address, all of those stuff. So string. Okay, if you take cha is one character. Whatever one character is, now for let's say your email, like for example, let's say a@123.gmail blah blah blah. This is a string. Cha is letter A or only one character. It's called a cha. Integer means numbers only, whole numbers only, like 1, 357. Then we have something called real. That's a decimal number. For example, 37.5. Okay. And then we have Boolean. This is true or false. Okay, so these are the different data types we have. And you can see the season is holding the word spring, summer, autumn, winter. Those are actually text. So text is normally there, you can see in string. Okay, string can have any character. Okay, keep in mind, string can have any character. Then see what's happening there. Now, if you take this statement, write ln enter month, what's going to happen is you're going to display a message called enter month. Read ln means what we're going to do is we're going to take the value the user entered and store it into a variable. Take the value the user entered and store it into a variable. Okay. So if you're going to take a value of the user entered and store it into a variable, what is a suitable variable do you think we can store this data entered? We're asking the user to store the month, right? Enter the month. After we ask the user to enter the month, the data he enters, into which variable do you think we have to store? Should I store it in the month variable or season variable? Here. What's that Boolean? Boolean is true or false. In which variable should I store the month the user enters? Exactly, the month variable. You can see there's two variables, right? One, when we created the program, we said our program is going to have two variables. One of the variable that's program is going to have is we said month, and another variable we said we're going to have is season. Okay, now you already know the season variable in this program is going to be used to store this season like spring, summer, autumn, winter, all those stuffs. And actually, this what you call month variables are going to be used to store the month the user enters. Okay, we're asking the user to enter the month now. This month the user enters, we're going to store it into this month variable. So I'm going to say C is going to be month. Next, season is D. Okay, right, season is D. So what we are doing here is you can see the season is part is mentioned inside inverted comma, and then there's a comma used here, and then they have mentioned a label called D. Now what they're doing here is they're going to join this text. There's a sample text here. They're going to join this text actually with a variable. So D is actually a variable. First of all, tell me, what do you call this concept as? Joining multiple values together. Here we're joining text and variable. What do you call this concept as? Joining variables or text or anything. Joining values together. What do you call it as? Yes, that's called concatenation. Okay, that's called concatenation. So here what we're going to do is we're going to join the word, the season is the text. We're going to join it to the variable holding the season, right? So here the variable that's holding the correct season is actually season variable. So I'm going to say D is going to be season. So what's happening here is it's taking that value called season is, and it's going to take the value of the variable season and join together. So for example, in this program, if the month entered here was, let's say, 4. If the month ended 4, then you're going to check here under which season it comes. 4 comes under spring. So the output of this program will be season is spring. Is concatenation in our syllabus. That word called concatenation is not there, but this is there in our syllabus. The concept is used. They don't tell you that this is concatenation, but concatenation is being done. What's the difference between read and read ln? You can't notice a difference. Functionality there is a difference, but you will not notice a difference. As a user, you will not be able to notice it unless you use it in loop. So for your idea, just keep the idea that there is no difference. But behind the scene, there is a small difference, complex, unwanted. As a user, you will not be able to see any difference between read and reader. Keep in mind, both are used to store a value to a variable. So inside the bracket of reader, always we mention a variable name. How to identify that there are variables in the correct place? If there is anything going to be stored into it, obviously it's a variable. So you can see season is storing a value. And you see if they in reader, then obviously in brackets we mention a variable. So that's how you identify if it's a variable or not. Because variables are used for what in a program? Do what? What's the purpose of variables? To store values. So if you notice anywhere in this program, we're going to store a value, then it's going to be stored inside a variable. Again, this is Pascal, grade 11, first lesson. Now, if you notice this first question, majority of them were based on grade 10. Very few was based on grade 11. Anyways, anyone have any questions there regarding what we learned? Make sure you revise your text, what you call context. Huh? Given below is a part of a spreadsheet containing data on price of food item purchased on a daily basis by ABC Pereira and Brothers. There is a 3% discount on the unit price for each type of food purchased daily. Relevant discount percentage is stored in cell C2. So C2, this has the discount percentage mentioned in that question. So let's answer the question. Which formula should be written inside cell D4 to calculate the discount on buying a fish bun? Applicable discount amount should be copied from cell D4, D9. Okay. They are asking in this D4 cell. So D4 is here. Okay. How do we find the discount? Now, you can see the unit price of a fish bun is there inside the fish this cell, right? And then what do you call the discount is mentioned in this cell. Now use your common sense and tell me they have mentioned here this 3.60. No? Are they talking this? Is this no? Does this 3.60 look like the discount of one fish bun, or does 3.60 looks like the discount of 150 fish buns? They just looking at the values itself. Compare and tell me. Are they talking about one fish buns discount here or 151 fish bun discount? Obviously, right? If it's only our, now you can see the value of a fish bun is 120, almost close to 100 rupees. And the discount is 3 rupees. So if in 100 rupees, discount would be 3 rupees. Means 120 means the discount will be slightly more than 3 rupees. Okay. But if it's 150 buns, then obviously the discount should be greater than this in total. So you can see it's almost, if it's 3.60, obviously it must be referring to one fish buns discount, one specific fish buns discount. Okay. Now to calculate the discount of a fish bun, now here we are going to use a bit of maths, right? What we are to do, we have to take the price of one fish bun and multiply that with the price of the multiply that with the discount value. Now, first of all, tell me in which cell do we have the unit price of fish bun? Tell me the cell address. Always the cell address is formed by using the column name and the row number. So, what is the cell address containing the price of one fish bun? Yes, it is a cell C4. Okay. To find the discount, what I should do is I will take the unit price and multiply it with the cell containing the discount. Now, first of all, tell me what is the cell containing the discount? Yes, the cell containing the discount percentage. I mean, percentage is there in which cell? It's there in cell C2. Now, if I multiply C4 into C2, okay, if I multiply C4 into C2, what will happen is I'll be getting the answer. I'll be getting the answer is 3.60. But there is a small issue. The issue we have here is if I copy this formula from this cell to this cell, or else this cell, or else this cell, okay? If I copy it, there is a small problem that can happen. Okay, there's a small problem that can happen. The problem that can happen is basically if you take spreadsheet softwares, they have a special feature, right? The special feature is that if I copy a formula from one cell to another cell, the cell addresses changes respectively. What I mean by respectively is here, if I'm going to copy this formula from here, that is from D4, if I'm going to copy the formula from D4 to, let's say, D5. Now, if I'm going to copy from D4 and paste to D5, if you look at the change here, I'm going one cell down. Look at the change here, I'm going one cell down. So when I do that, what will happen is, even in my formula, all the cell addresses will go one cell down. So in D5 cell, it's going to be what we call C5 into C3. Okay, in the D5 cell, it will have C5 into D3. So which means C5 into D3 into C3, sorry. Okay. Now C5 cell, it has a value of one vegetable bun. It has a price of one vegetable bun. But the C3 cell, does it has the discount percentage? As per the given spreadsheet, does the C3 cell have a particular percentage? No, it doesn't have the percentage. Now we have the problem we are going to solve. Okay, spreadsheet, because when you're copying and pasting cell addresses change, they are given you now the second feature. Another feature spreadsheet has is you can block it as well. Now you can see when you're copying and pasting, I told you cell addresses changes now respectively. You can block this as well. You can block it from getting changed as well. That is by using something called as absolute cell reference. The using of dollar symbol. So if you want the row number not to change, you add the dollar symbol in front of the row number. If you want the column name not to change, you add the dollar symbol in front of the column name. And if you want both not to change, you can add the dollar symbol in front of both. Now here, if you notice here, when we copied and pasted, the problem we had is the row number got changed. So what we can do is, without mentioning equals C4 into C2, we can mention something like equals C4 into C$2. You can mention something like this. Now, if you mention like this, and if you copy it to the remaining cells, in the remaining cells, this C$2 will be as it is. There will not be any changes for this fellow. There will be no any changes for this fellow. Okay. Is that clear all of you? Yes or no? If you want, you can mention $C$2 as well. But it is not a requirement. It is not a required factor. Because the question mentions here, we are going to copy it from D4 to D9 only. Okay. So when you copy from D4 to D9, only the cell row number changes. Only if we are jumping columns, it will be a problem. But in our scenario, we are not jumping columns. Okay. Only if you are jumping columns, you have to put dollar symbol in front of C. Here they have said we are going to copy and paste to different rows now. When are jumping columns now. If you're jumping columns, you can keep it $C as well. Again, it's correct, not that it's wrong, but not a requirement. You know what I mean by required, right? Required, optional. So this is an optional factor, $C. But $2 is a requirement, right? So the correct answer there would be equals C4 into equals C4 into C$2. So C4 will have the price of one specific fish bun's price, and C$2 will have the price of, will have the discount amount for the whole percentage. Is that clear all of you? Yes or no? Anyone have any questions there? What about C4? No. That has to be dynamic, right? Because when I copy that formula from D3, so D4, when I copy the formula from D4, when I copy it to, let's say, D6, in D6, I want the fish rolls, I want the rolls discount. When I copy it to D8, I want the burgers discount, right? So I want it to change. I want the C4 to change. This is a requirement. I want it to change now. So therefore, we don't do absolute cell reference for that. We do the absolute cell reference only for this discount because we don't want that to change. C4, we want it to change, correct? $C$2 is used for what? If you want to jump columns. Now here, what, as per the given scenario, we are going to copy from D4 to D9. Only if you're going to, here, when you're copying from the, if we are copying from D3, we're going to copy it to the cells from D4 to D9. But D4 to D9, they're in the same column. It's not a problem. If you're going to paste it to a cell in different column, that is where you have to think about the dollar symbol in front of C. So as per the given scenario, you don't have to think about it. But that is also correct, but not a requirement. Is that clear enough? Next, what is the formula for writing the final amount to be paid in cell E4? So they're asking what is the amount that has to mention in cell E4. E4 is this. In cell E4 to be paid after deducting the discount amount for fish bun. Okay. So what you can do is you can do something like this. You can write a formula there for the after the discount, the total value. you can mention there equals C4 minus D4 into B4, because the C4 cell has the original price. Okay, the C4 cell, it has the original price, and then D4 has a discount. So if I want to find the price after discount, the price of a fish bun after discount, what I should do? I have to take the original price and deduct the discounted amount, the amount that has to be given as discount. And with this, I will get the value of one specific fish bun. If you want to find the value of all 150 buns, I have to multiply this by 150. So that is what I have done here. C4 minus D4 into B4. So 150 is there in the B4 cell. Is that clear, all of you? Yes or no? But it's already give the discount. Where is it given? Can we write 150 without B4? No. Because normally when you're using a spreadsheet, we always have the habit of copying and pasting formulas for the same scenario. Now here also we're going to find the cost with final cost with discount. No, here also we're going to find the final cost with discount. So it's if you're going to copy write the formula for each and every cell, it's an unwanted time waste. It's like you're doing a manual work. So what we do is if you copy and now paste it here, now because we have used the B4, and if I copy and paste for the remaining cells, it will get updated dynamically, which means if I copy the formula from E4 cell, if I copy to let's say the E6 cell, when I copy to E6 cell, so this is E6 cell, this is E6 cell. When I copy to E6 cell, the C4 will become C6, D4 will become D6, and what do you call B4 will become B6. So it's going to multiply these values and find the answer for the rows. Correct. And they're asking what is the formula we have to write to get that value, man. When you take a spreadsheet, you can't see the formulas unless you go and double click on that cell. So they're saying behind these values given here, there's a formula hidden. They're asking what are these formulas, man. E4 will become, what is it? I didn't get your point, I know. What is it? E4 will become D5. No, it's something like this. I'll show you practically. Imagine I have something like this. I have here bun and rolls and samosa. I'm going to buy 5 buns, 3 samosas, sorry, 3 rolls, and 2 samosas, whatever. Okay. I'm saying one patties is 150 rupees, 100 rupees, 70 rupees. I just put random values. Now, let's say I want to find the value of a bun. I'm going to write a formula equals the number of buns I'm going to buy multiply by the number of quantity. So I'm going to call this cube quantity. I'm going to call this as unit price. And I'm going to call this total. Okay. So if you notice here, what's happening basically is I am multiplying 5 with 150 to get this 750. Now, if I'm going to manually go and write the 150 into 5, that's unwanted. The reason why I say unwanted is because if I have this C3 into B3, I can directly copy this for the remaining cells like this. When I copied for the remaining cells, in D4 cell, it became C4 into B4. Here it became C5. Okay. I wrote this formula. I wrote C3 to B3. But you can see here C4 into B4, C5 into B5, it got automatically updated. So that's the advantage of using spreadsheets. You don't have to do it manually. Okay. So again, if I show you, I'm going to write the formula here to take C4, B4, B3 value, multiply it with C3 value. So I'm writing it equals B3 into C3. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to copy it for the remaining 2 cells If I copy it, see this became B4 and this became B5. So it's doing the respective value. If I put here as 5, okay, it will cause a problem. Why? It will consider here also into 5, here also into 5. But here it should be into 3 and here it should be into 2. No? Is that clear now? Perfect. Next. In cell E10, write the formula needed to calculate the total value of the relevant bill as equal function cell 1 to cell 2. Okay, so we want to write the formula in E10 cell. In the E10 cell, we want to find the total amount we are going to spend. Okay, to find a total in a cell range, there is a function we have in spreadsheet. What is that function? What is the function we can use in spreadsheet to find the total of values? Yes, it is a sum function. So I'm going to write a equal sum. In brackets, I'm going to mention the cell range containing those values. Now, what is the cell range containing the numbers I have to add together? Cell range is the starting cell up to the ending cell. So what is the cell range containing the, what do you call, numbers I have to add? Yes, the cell range is what? E4 to E9. This is a cell range I have to add together. E4 to E9, the starting cell to stopping cell. I'm going to start adding from E4 and go up to E9. So I'm going to write here E4 to E9. Is there a possibility they give the final cost and ask for the formula to find the quantity? Yeah. No, they will not ask you to find the quantity because that's not practical. Practical is not mathematical question. They are about spreadsheet, so you don't get those type of questions. Next, write the formula. What are symbols that can be and cannot be used in brackets? Inside the brackets, you can use the two symbol. It's called two. You can use the comma symbol. You can use the, yeah, these are only two symbols you can use. The two symbol and the comma symbol. Next, write the formula to get the number of products with the most purchase in cell B11 as function 2 to cell 3. So, okay. Now they want you to find the number of products with the most purchase. Now, when they say most purchase, they want out of all the products, they want to find the product that has had the highest amount of sales, right? Now, technically, if you look at this cell range contain the quantity, tell me what is the largest quantity you can notice out of the different quantities purchased. What is the largest value you can see? Yes, the largest value you can see is 170. In the perspective of what do you call, Sarano, in the perspective of the computer, if you want to find the largest value here, what is the function we have to use to find the largest value in a cell range? Exactly. We're going to use the max function. So I'm going to say equal max and then the cell range containing the value. So cell range here is going to be B4 to B9. So I'm saying find the maximum value in the cell range B4 to B9. So keep in mind in spreadsheet, there are functions like sum to find the total of a cell range, count to find the number of cells containing numbers only, min to find the smallest value in a cell range, max to find the largest value in the cell range, and average to find the average value in a cell range. And count A to count anything that's there inside a cell. Count a number of cells containing anything. It should contain something. Huh? If it's nothing, it'll ignore. What cell range contain the unit price of all food items included in the above bill? Okay. So they are asking one thing, if you read the question properly, they are asking you the cell range. And cell range of what? To contain the unit price of all food items. Okay. Now, what is the cell range contain the unit price of all food items? So, in which range of cells can you see the unit price of every items? From where to where can you see the unit price of every items? Exactly. See, from C4 cell to the C9 cell, you have the unit price of each and every item, right? So answer there is going to be equal C4 to C9. Also that are equal. Answer there is C4 to C9. They're not asking what formula, no? They're asking the cell range. So the cell range is C4 to C4 to C9. Is that clear of you? Next. What is the most appropriate type of graph to use in the spreadsheet software to compare the names of each food item and their quantity? Okay. You can use any chart except pie chart for this. Okay. Because in pie chart, we're not going to compare. Pie chart can be used to represent the data. But when they use the word compare, okay, to represent, you can use any chart you want. But when they use the word compare, avoid using pie chart. Okay, because in pie chart, it's not easy to compare data. So for this, you can mention any answer you want. You can mention bar chart, you can mention line chart, you can mention column chart, scatter chart, anything you want, you can mention. Okay. Anyone having any questions here in spreadsheet? Okay, next. Out of these, what is the most appropriate one? I would actually choose either line chart or else column chart. It's more nice. Next. Because bar is horizontal, it's ugly. Just for neatness purpose only. Next. The database table shown below. Okay, at my check. To store it is about member, instructor, course, and enrollment are there below. Fine. A group of students is assigned to each course, and one student may participate in more than one course. List two primary keys of the above database along with their table names. Always keep in mind when they use the word primary key, they are referring to the unique field of the table, right? So they're asking you to mention the unique field and the table name alongly. If you take the member table, is there any field? No, field means the column names. Huh? Is there any fields you can see that looks unique for every member? Exactly. So you can say member ID in member table. So member ID in member table, that's going to be a unique field. And then in the instructor table, what is going to be the unique field you can notice? Yes, the INST ID in instructor table. If you just mention the field name only, you will not get marks. You'll also make sure you mention along with the field name, you mention the table name as well. And then if you go for the course table, what is a unique field? A field is course ID, course name, day, inst ID. These are all fields in the table. Okay. You have to see what is a field containing only unique values. These values should not repeat. See, these values are not repeating. Every member has a unique member ID. Like in your school, you have admission number. Here, every instructor have a unique instructor ID. Similarly, you can see in the course table as well. Every course has a unique ID as well, right? So course ID is going to be the unique field here. Course ID in course table. That's going to be the unique field, right? Is that clear up to the all of you? Perfect. So if you mention any of the two there, you get the marks. Roman number 2. Which tables needs to be updated to make the following change? Recruiting Amaya in enrollment table, actually there is something called as a composite primary key, which means you can't take only the member ID. See, there is repetition if you take member ID only. You can't take only course ID because you can see there is repetition of course ID as well. But in enrollment table, there's a key called this composite primary key, which means you take both of them. In composite primary key, what happens is you will have to use more than one field. It can be two field, three field, okay, a number of fields. Okay, so you are going to use more than one field to identify each records. So if you take assume a pair, you can see first one is 12 and 100. Here 12 and 103. Here 12 and 115. So as a pair, if you take, it's unique. Is it on our syllabus? Yes, composite primary key is there. Adi, you don't even know that composite primary key is there on our syllabus? Jeez. Sad life. Amnesia. What meant? To the first one, can we write composite primary key? Yeah, you can, but why do you want to go there? It's like when you can drink water from the particular glass, you're going to the river and drinking without a cup, you're going to put your mouth inside and drink and come. You're not thirsty. There we are. You have the glass in front of you, just drink directly. But if, what you want is you want to drink, go to this ocean and put your head, without not even using a tumbler, not even hand, put your head inside and you want to drink water. Water. Bad life. Next, which tables needs to be updated? Yeah. If you're going to recruit a person called Amaya that's born on 9th of February 2006 as a new member to the English course, okay? So there's going to be a new member, it seems, for English course, and her name is Amaya. Which table I have to update? Okay. First of all, I'm going to ask her some questions, right? If you go for the member table, is there any person called Amaya at the moment? No. So technically, we have to update the member table. Okay. Now, have they mentioned anything about who is going to instruct Amaya? In this paragraph, have they mentioned about who is going to instruct Amaya? No. So we don't have to update the instructor table. Have they mentioned the course Amaya is going to follow? Yes, they have mentioned that Amaya is going to follow English course, right? Look at the course table and tell me, is the English course already available? Do you already have a record about the English course? Yeah. So should we update the course table? No. It is already there. We don't have to update. Should I update the enrollment table? Yes. I have to come and tell a new member called Amaya is joining the English course. See, they have mentioned that she is going to be enrolling for the English course. So, in which table do I show that she's joining the English course? In the enrollment table. Because if there is no enrollment table, is the remaining using the remaining three tables, I can't tell what is the course Amaya is following. I will know there's a student called Amaya here. I will know there's a course called English here. But how do I know that Amaya is following English? Using the enrollment table, right? So here, apart from the member table, so what do you call, even the enrollment table has to get updated. Is that clear, all of you? Right? Why? Without updating the enrollment table, let's you cover the enrollment table and tell me. Can you tell me what is the course? What do you call Dinaya is following? If I don't have the enrollment table, can you tell me what is the course Dinaya is following without knowing that table? No. Similarly, if the enrollment table is not there, how are you going to prove or how are you going to represent that Amaya is following the English course? Is there any other ways you can show it without the enrollment table? No. So that's why we go and update the enrollment table, mentioning Amaya's member ID, saying this is Amaya's member ID, and mention the English course's ID until Amaya is following the English course. Got it? Okay. Initiating of a new German course on Saturdays by the institute, and the instructor Saman Pereira has been appointed to conduct the course. First of all, you can see in the course table there is no course called German. So I have to update the course table definitely. Next, they mentioned that it's done by Saman Pereira. I had to go and see, do we have an instructor called Saman Pereira? I have. So no any changes, right? So basically, I have to update the course table only, right? Only the course table I have to update because Saman Pereira is already an instructor registered. Clear? Right. Write down the new records or record to be added to the respective tables to be done in part A and B above. Use the format table name, field 1, field 2 for it. Okay. So first thing which we should do for A is basically update the member ID. See, update the member table and enrollment table. So they have mentioned table name, field 1, field 2. So table name is called member. The field 1, I'm going to enter the ID as M017 because last one is 16 means next is 17. And the name is Amaya. And she was born on 2006 February 9th. And then I have to update the enrollment table. In the enrollment table, I have to say the member M017 is joining the course C100. Should we draw a new table for this? Who is your English teacher? Ask your English teacher to explain what you mean by this. They have mentioned there to use the format table name field 1 field 2. So this is how you have to do it. Mention the table name and the field 1, what is the value that has to be there? Field 1 means the first field. Then field 2, what is the value? Under member name, what should be the value there? And field 3, what is the value that has to be there? So you have to follow the given format only. Next. So that is for the A part. Okay. Apart from that, we have also in the B part, we have to update the course table. So I'm going to mention in the table name course. Course table's first field has a course ID. The last one is 120. So new course, I'm saying it's going to be 121. And the name of the course, I'm going to call it as German because that's given the data here. Ade, I'm writing the correct answer here, man. This is the way you write the answer. You think I will tell you all one and you have to do something else? Did I write the table name, field name here? No, I wrote the values. What a phenomenon. And it's happening on Saturdays. So I mentioned Saturday here. Confusion at its peak, exactly. And the instructor is called Saman Pereira. Saman Pereira's ID is called IN15. So I'm going to mention it IN15. Okay. So what I have done here is they have told us to mention the table name and the field values. I have mentioned table name is called course table. You can see course table first field is going to have the course ID. I mentioned the course ID is 121. See 121. The second field is having the course name. So I have mentioned here German. And the days as they ask the day, you can see the day they have mentioned is Saturdays. So I mentioned Saturday here. And the instructor ID. Now they have told this is being instructed by Saman Pereira. I went for the instructor table and found out that Saman Pereira's ID is IN15 and wrote here IN15. So that is how you do these kind of a question. Tell me, are you all clear with that? Yes or no? Got the idea how I did the Roman number 3? Shayada, it's the 6th lesson starting. Next. Write down the type of relationship between the following tables: one-to-one, one-to-many, and many-to-many. Okay. Instructor table and course table. Instructor and course. Instructor and course table. If I take one instructor, can one instructor teach only one course, or can one instructor teach many courses? What do you think? One or many? Exactly. One instructor can teach many courses. Okay, one instructor can teach many courses. You can see here the instructor 67, which is Vimal. Vimal is teaching Japanese as well as Vimal is teaching French as well. Okay, so one teacher can teach many courses. If I take one course, a specific course is taught by how many instructors? You take one specific course, it's taught by only one instructor, or one course is taught by many instructors? Exactly, one course is taught by only one instructor. So first of all, you ask your question is one from here represent how many there, one from here represent how many here. And then if you have M, write M, or else write 1. And this is called a one-to-many relationship. Okay, but if you have in the right side M, just write M like this. 1 and 1, 1. And the what you call connection between these two tables is a one-to-many relationship. This is the easiest way to find the relationship part. The second part I didn't get. Okay, look at the English course and tell me how many, who is actually teaching English course? Someone. Apart from someone, can anyone else teach English course? No. So one course is being taught only by one instructor. That's why I put one course is taught by only one instructor. So one and one is one. M, if M is there, you write M down. So it's a one to M relationship. Got it? One to many relationship. Next, course table and member table. Again, the same scenario I'm going to do here as well. Okay. So course table and member table. If you take one course, okay, can one student, sorry, if you take one course, can only one student join that course or can many students join that course? Take a specific course, can only one person enroll to that course or many people can enroll to that course? Exactly, many people can enroll for that course. If you take one student, so one member can enroll only for one course or can one member enroll to many courses? Exactly, one member can enroll for many courses. So if M is there, write M. If M is there, write M. So this is a many-to-many relationship. Always, when there is a many-to-many relationship, you will have to get the help of a third table to form the relationship. Now tell me, what is a table that's going to connect the member table and the course table? Exactly, it's the enrollment table. Always keep in mind, when there is a many-to-many relationship, there is a third table formed. Okay, so that's going to be a many-to-many relationship. Why do we need to know this? If you are going to create a database, you should know this. Without knowing this, you will not be able to create a proper database. Should I show workings for how I found the relationship? Nope. There is no methods. This is my own method which I have created, but there is no such method specifically for all these stuffs. I just made it on the floor. Next, which table should be joined when writing a query to find the why many to many? Why I said no. Again, I tell you. If you take one student, can one student one course, okay? If you take one course can enroll how many members? Only one member or many members? Take one specific course. How many members can join that course? Only one person? No, many people can join that course. If I take a specific member, for example, let me take this person called as Dinaya. Can Dinaya join only one course or can a member join many courses? They can join many. When you have M and M, put M down. When you have M and M, put M. If you have M here, put M down. See, same thing we did here as well. Because we had M here, we put M down. Only if it's one and one, you write one. If you have M in that side, put M. So it's a many-to-many relationship. If it's a one-to-one relationship, when you're doing the connection, this will have one, this will have one, this will have one, this will have one. If you get something like this is where you get a one-to-one relationship. Got it. So here, if you see, it's a many-to-many relationship. Next, which table should be joined when writing a query to find the names of the members enroll to each course along with the course name? Okay, now we use something called query in order to extract data, which means obtain data from the database. Now let's say you want to find the name of the members along with the course they are following and the course names. Okay, now tell me, if you want to find the names of those people and the course they are following, should you go and refer the instructor table? And now let's say I ask you the question. I'm asking, tell me every student who are enrolling for course along with the course name. Should we refer the instructor table? No. What is a table you will first of all go and check? I'm asking you the question saying, tell me each and every student who are enrolling for the courses along with the name, along with their name and the course. So for example, you have to come and tell me Dinaya is attending the English course. Dinaya is attending the Japanese course. Likewise, if you're going to find that, what is the first table you go and check? Exactly. The first table you'll go and check is the enrollment table. Without checking the enrollment table, you will not have a lead. The first table you're going to go is the enrollment table. In enrollment table, you will go and find two data, the member ID and course ID. Using that, you might find who is a member. For example, if I want to find this part, now I'll go for the enrollment table. See, member table. In member table, I'll find whose name is M012. Whose name is M012 actually? The first record. This M012 is representing but which student? Yes, it is representing Dinaya. I found that her name is Dinaya. And then to find which course she is following, the C101, to find the course name, which table I had to go for? I had to go for the course table. So the course table, I go and find what is the course she is following, and I will know she is following the English course. And now I can tell that Dinaya is following the English course. Now, for me to tell Dinaya is following the English course, I had to go through the enrollment table, as well as member table, as well as course table. Did I go through the instructor table? Did I have to go through the instructor table? No. So the answer for this question is going to be enrollment table, comma, member table, comma, courses table. I had to go through these three tables to find the answer. So indirectly they're asking what are the table that has to be joined. Those three tables has to be joined to find the answer. Is that clear, all of you? It depends. Both have differences. So that's there regarding database. Again, this is one of the easiest question you can get marks from. Next, the fourth one. All right, fourth one, you don't have HTML, the top part. Let's discuss the top part only. Identify the most appropriate term to fill each blanks A to D, blah, blah, blah. One of the first services on the internet can be called as dash, and it's possible to access website through dash. Okay, out of the given answers here, they have given you one service of the internet. What is that? We are getting 7 services of the internet. Shahida here. Yes. If you take the service of the internet, what you called World Wide Web is one service, and then email is a service. Actually, email comes under communication, so I'll just take email not direct as a direct service, and then search engine is a service, and then yeah, as main service we have World Wide Web and search engine. I'm going to include a World Wide Web, but even search engine is correct. And you can access the World Wide Web. Sorry, and it's possible to access the website through what? If you want to access the website, you need an application. What is the application called as? Web browser. So B is going to be your web browser. You can access your website. Next, the dash server converts dash into IP address, and the website can be accessed by typing it in the address bar of the web browser and pressing the enter key. Okay. Now, first of all, which server converts the, okay, now if there is one server, when you're searching something in your web browser, you will go and type the domain name. No, when you go and type your domain name is only converted to IP address. Okay, so I'm going to mention a domain name. And who converts your domain name to IP address? What server? It's the domain name server. Okay, so DNS is going to be there. If you look at the answer, they have not mentioned the word domain name, but without mentioning domain name, they have mentioned URL. So if they have not mentioned domain name, you can use URL here as well. Okay, so DNS server, it converts the domain name or else the URL into IP address, right? So that's the answer there. Is that clear of you? Next. Write the task label E to H with the correct terms in the given list below. Write each label with its corresponding term. Write code, check errors, and rectify those. Web Publisher, Visual Studio, and okay. Normally, if you take web development, there are different peoples we have. For example, there is a person who designs the website. Okay, he's called the author of the website. There is a person who edits the website, write codes for the website. He's called the editor. Have they given editor here? Yes, editor. Editor is a person who actually go and writes the codes for the website. Then there is a person who goes and publish the website. He's called the publisher. Again, are they related to the fifth lesson? Also, you don't have the fifth lesson, no. So I can ignore this for now, but publisher. And fulfills maintenance tasks related to the web server and database. Maintenance is done by the administrator. Again, this is related to the fifth lesson, so you don't have this, no, you can ignore it. This term called composer, editor, visual studio, and then what do you call WordPress, administrator. These all are something Joomla. These all relevant to the fifth lesson, so you all can ignore it. Can do it general knowledge. You can, but that's relevant for the fifth lesson. So I'm not going to teach all that. You can ignore it. But if you really want to know the answer, these are the respective answers. Okay. And this is HTML. You also said you don't have HTML, so I'm going to skip this. Sarah here. That. Next. Some of the tasks following in developing a computer-based information system in certain school are shown in column A, and some of the stages of STLC are shown in column B. Choose and write the stage best suit each task. Write only relevant task number and the corresponding stage label. Okay. Preparing documents on the objective, benefits, and efficiency of the new system. Identify code errors, design errors, and recruitment errors. And adding new technology into the new system. Developing the software based on designed solution. Now, first of all, tell me in terms of testing and debugging, which one comes? 1, 2, 3, or 4? Now, testing is you're going to test the application. Debugging is you're going to solve the errors or correct errors that was in the testing phase. So that is done in which one? 1, 2, 3, or 4? You're identifying errors and all those stuffs. Exactly. You can see they have mentioned identifying coding errors. That is done in the P stage. So they have asked us right here task number and the corresponding stage. So task number is 1, no? Task number. Yeah, 1. So number 1, number 2, number 3, number 4. 2 is done by P. Next. Coding the solution. Which one suits the most for coding solution? 1, 3, or 4? Yes. See, they have mentioned about developing the software based on the design solution. You're going to develop. You're going to create the software. So creating the application comes in the developing stage. So number 4 is going to be representing Q. And then adding new technology into the, okay, before that, in terms of identifying of requirements, that comes on which one? 1 or 3? No. Identifying requirements is actually the third one. Before I explain that, I'll explain S, then it will make more sense. In terms of maintenance of the system, do you, in terms of maintenance system, do you plan of adding new technology in the maintenance systems, or do you get the new systems, what do you call benefits, all those stuff, benefits and efficiency? You go and prepare document about the benefit and efficiency. What do you think? Do you do that in the maintenance or identifying requirement? Again, the word is not, the data is not enough. Okay. But based on the given data, when you are saying that you're going to, if they had stopped with objective, I would have said it's going to be identified requirement. But because they have mentioned about the word benefits and efficiency of the new system, it's more suitable for the maintenance. But actually speaking, maintenance has something of updating. Only when you're going to update the system. whatever we update the system is doing puri changes. Like for example, let's say now if you take the Master ID website, every month I go and schedule lessons. After every class, I add the recordings or I approve your invoices. That's what comes under maintenance, right? But because they are mentioning adding new technology, they're not telling about adding new technology for the system. It can come under maintenance. It can also come under, again, you are going to identify the requirements of the new technology and design the solution. It can create a new round as well. So there's two perspectives. The first is a very bit stupid option actually. But again, you can tell S is going to be 3 and R is going to be 1 as well. But in a different perspective, we can take S as 1 and 3 as R. You can swap that in different perspective. That is where we're not talking about benefits and efficiency of the new system. Okay. Mostly this is done after preparing. Okay. After you're done creating a system, we go and get the customer's feedback. Right. After we deploy the system, now few deployment is just before maintenance now. So once you're done deploying, the next stage is we go and ask the customer their feedback. Okay, how is the system? Are you finding any errors? Are you finding any, is it making your work easy? We will make a report. Right? After deployment is publishing. Deployment is publishing. So once you have released the application, you go and check with the customer all these stuffs. Right? So in terms of that, normally you go and find these benefits and efficiency of the system during the maintenance stage. But the word objective is found in the requirement identification stage. So there's a small confusion there. So if it's a correct marker, they should give answers for both. But again, if it's a proper marking scheme, I think they might give answer for what I wrote in pink color. But again, R has a valid argument as well. Free marks are no. I don't. Mostly depends on who, what do you call, if the marker. The person who is marking the paper, if they come across this and they'll be like, this is also acceptable, no killer, they might give you mark. Again, it depends on the marker. But I am pretty sure the most suitable one, I mean, the marking scheme would have something like this. I didn't check the marking scheme. It should have something like this. But from a different perspective, you can take R and S, you can swap that as well. Clear, all of you? Correct? Right. Next. A particular technical college uses a computerized information system to record the progress of students in real time. The owner decides to replace the manual system with a computer-based information system in the hope of improving the accuracy and efficiency of the process. Okay. Now they are mentioning that they're going to replace the manual system with a computer-based system. The owner instructed the system development team to use the students of the automotive engineering department who are currently studying in the technical college to identify the defects in the system. So the defects in the system is going to be identified with the help of these students, it seems. And to improve and to implement the new system following safe procedures until it's identified that there are no defects in the new system. Okay. So to implement the new system following safe procedures, so they're asking to implement the new system following some safe procedures, it seems, until it's identified that there are no defects in the system. Fine. That's also another point they have mentioned. Right to advantages of a computer-based information system compared to a manual information system for the company owner. Right now, in terms of creating a system, by default, some people when they're starting companies, they might have a manual system. One thing manual systems are. Give me a minute, guys. There's some sound pollution here. I'm getting irritated like here. Let me call in. Can you also hear that sound? Very irritated. I have my ears is so powerful. Yeah, upstairs. I'm gonna call and shout to them. Hello. Okay, now it's working upstairs. Okay, so basically, if you take a computer-based system, what happens is one thing you can tell is the efficiency in retrieving data. Efficiency in retrieving data. I'm going to make my home hereafter soundproof. Yes, I am active. Okay, so one thing is efficiency in retrieving data, which means if you're going to find the data from the new system in a computer-based system, you can find the data quickly compared to a what do you call manual systems. That's one answer. Apart from the efficiency in retrieving data, but another advantage you can tell in computer-based data is you can create reports easily. So if you send to go back them, I will do that if I'm not having a seminar. Seriously, I'll go and do it. Okay, so you can create reports easily in a computer-based system comparatively. ADHD kicking in, exactly. Boy, I'm ADHD. But yeah, apart from these two, in terms of computer-based system, you can tell the sharing of data is comparatively easy, and then you can make forecasting. What do you mean by the word forecasting? This is there in the syllabus, huh? What do you mean by forecasting? Cousins, yeah. What do you mean by forecasting? No, not weather. Forecasting means something like this. I'm going to predict the future. Forecasting is where you're going to predict the future, which means you're going to tell, okay, particular the last 3 months there was if it, let's say we have supermarket, you'll come and tell anchor was sold more than Ratti and all those stuffs. So there is a assumption that by the next few months also there might be more anchor that's going to get sold. So it's better that we can stock more anchor than other milk brands because that has a high demand. So that's called forecasting. We're predicting the future based on the previous data. Okay, that's what you call as forecasting. So you can do all those stuffs in a computer-based system. You can automate it, but you can't do that in a manual system without putting much effort. Should we compare and say, if you want, you can compare as well, but you can directly mention the advantage as well. So advantage is efficiency in retrieving data. So if you compare with manual, in automatic, you can retrieve the data faster. So create reports easily. Then you can forecast, you can do forecasting. So these are some of the advantages. There are many other as well. These are some of the primary ones which you can mention. Any kind of predictions? Predictions based on the previous data. Can we use accuracy? You can use accuracy, but I will not take that as a very good answer. It's considered correct, but I don't like those answers like accuracy because if you note down properly, whether it's in a computer or whether it's in the what do you call manually, you can make mistakes. Now, for example, one of my friend is working in a company. That bugger was like, there's a product worth of 12,000. So there was a customer who came and bought around 5 or 10 products, and by mistakenly, this person has gone and without mentioning this as 12,000, they've entered the wrong product code. So every product has a product code. So enter the product code, scan the product code. By mistake, they have scanned the wrong product code, and 12,000 became some 6 or 5,000. So indirectly, that bugger had to pay the difference because he made that mistake. So again, he used a computer-based system, but it's called data entry error. So that can happen. So I will not, accuracy is correct, but I will not accept accuracy as one of the suitable answers because you can maintain accuracy in a manual system as well. So are they completeness? Those all information's characteristics, not what do you call systems characteristics. Accuracy, cost effectiveness. Don't go and write them here. Those are different topics. It's correct. Are they speed? Those are not features of computer-based man. Accuracy, speed. Those are all features of computer. You will learn about accuracy and all those stuffs in two scenarios: features of a computer, features of information. Under features of a computer, only you have this what you call speed, accuracy, what do you call storing and retrieving. Those are all features of a computer. And features of informational, you get these details like accuracy, then cost effective, timeliness, well, confusing all those stuffs. Go and refer the grade 10 first lesson and second lesson. Yeah, you'll get marks for accuracy, but don't use it, is my perspective. Write down which measure should be used for testing the above system and write down the main factor that led you to choose that method. Okay, in terms of testing the system, there are different types of testing. Actually, there's different steps. First, you do unit testing, then you do integration testing, then you do system testing, and then you do what you call acceptance testing. Okay, and they're asking which method should you use for the testing above and write down the main factor that you led. Actually, out of all these answer, You can mention any answers you want. The marks will be decided not based on the answer. The marks will be decided based on how you explain your answer. Now, if you're doing unit testing, you can tell we can do unit testing, and we can make sure that each and every unit in the system, each and every function in the system is working properly. If we say integration testing, we can tell, particularly we can integrate all the units together and check are they working together. So this will also ensure that the system is running perfectly. We can do system testing and tell we can do system testing to make sure the whole system is working properly and guarantee the customer that everything is proper. We can do acceptance testing and tell that we give the customer to check the application. So if the customer has no errors found, that means the customer is happy. If customer is happy, we are happy. I mean, you can write this in your correct terms. So you can mention any answers, but your marks will be decided based on how you explain this main factor that led your answer. So we have to know what each of these testings are. Obviously, man, you have to know all the testing methods, you have to know all the deployment methods. These are basic stuffs in the second lesson. If you're going to create a short note for the second lesson, you can do it in one A4 paper. In one A4 paper, the whole second lesson I have short note. I mean, the whole tutor itself in one A4 paper, just two sides. So there's nothing big in this second lesson actually in grade 11, right? So you can mention any of these answers, but the marks is basically made based on your, what do you call, how you write the reasonings. It's your perspective, which they check. What would be the most appropriate deployment method to deploy the newly developed system in addition to your answer, blah, 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 blah. Okay. One thing they have mentioned in the first paragraph is they want to replace the manual system with a computer-based system. So to do this, and the second thing they have mentioned here is they want to make sure that safe procedures until it's identified that there are no effects, right? You can give again, you can mention here, but you can mention any type of deployment method as well, right? But one of the things I would suggest here is basically to use the parallel deployment or else go for pilot deployment. Why I'm going to say parallel deployment is they can have the old system, new system both. They can focus on the new system, but suppose let's say by if there anything happens for the what do you call old system, new system, if the new system gave any errors, quickly they can revert back to the old system. That's why parallel system is better. Again, you can mention pilot deployment as well. If you mention pilot deployment, you can tell we can give it to first of all, let's say the senior grades, only for grade 10, only for grade 11 students, and check is it working for them properly. And if it's working for them properly, then you can release it for the whole school. That's how you can say pilot deployment is better, right? You can even say direct deployment. So you can say direct deployment and define thing. If you're using direct, it's better you can use direct deployment because the owner decided to replace the manual system. So which means owner does not want the old system, the manual system, right? So even direct deployment you can take correct. But phased deployment is not suitable here. You can mention any of the three here, but not phased. There's one more called phased deployment. It is not suitable here because we want the whole system. Why do we want only part of the system here? Right? So you can again mention any answers for this as well. So you can mention what do you call, what would the most appropriate deployment method? You can tell direct deployment would be more appropriate. Apart from that, we could do parallel or else pilot as well. You can mention like that as well. Okay. After 3 months of using the new system, some codes were rewritten in relation to a new feature added to the system. Which phase of the SDLC? Okay, which phase do we actually do these small changes? I told a while ago as well. Our potty changes and all we do in which stage? Not big changes. Okay, the small changes are done in the maintenance stage exactly. Okay, in the maintenance stage. Write down two changes that can be made to the developed system during the maintenance stage of a system. Okay, the two changes that can be made. One thing you can tell is you can make small updates. Or they're asking directly what can be made, what can be changed. No? You can directly mention. There's a change in the logo. You can directly give answers. Changing logo of our company. Okay. Then they have mentioned here the owner for the is going to use it for students of the automotive engineering department who are currently showing the technical engineering. And you can mention they are going to, let's say, change any contact info. They're not given exactly the purpose of the system, but if they have mentioned the purpose, depending on the scenario, you can tell more stuffs. So I have given you two changes: changing logo, changing the color themes, change the text sizes, or changing the replacement of items. You can do anything else. Adding new pages to the website. Now, adding new pages again, it's your identify requirements, and it's a complete new process. So normally we don't consider the large changes as a maintenance. Large changes, we restart the whole SDLC. Got it? So this is regarding the whole SDLC lesson. Okay. Again, this was a small lesson. Make sure you go through them before the exam. Nothing big is an SDLC. One thing you'll know is the 6 stages of SDLC. After you know the 6 stages, you should also know the different types of testings we have, the different types of deployments we have, and apart from that, the different types of development models, the waterfall and the iterative incremental. Just these 5 factors, if you know itself, you know the whole second lesson. There's nothing big in this second lesson if you just go and study them as well. And this is how you get the questions. Anyone have any questions here? And then the next question is regarding the sixth lesson. So I don't have that. I can skip it. We have one more question. We can be done. But the problem is we are running out of time. Let's see what is the seventh question. Easy, 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 easy. Fun fact is I have a class at 7:30. I can continue this question at 9:30 if you all want. But let's answer it now itself. No, we can do it within less than half an hour, no issues. Let's do it. Okay. If the values 5, 12, 7, 20, 999 are given respectively for the what do you call the variable number of the above pseudocode, what is the output of the pseudocode? Right. To do these kind of questions, the best method is to use the dry run, or else known as trace table. Now, drawing the trace table, one thing you want to keep in your mind is that include all the variables names, right? So there's a variable called sum. So I'm going to mention one column called sum. There's a variable called counter. I'm going to mention the variable called counter. There is input number. So number is also going to be stored. I'm going to write number. There's a condition is number not equal to 999. If you figure out this symbol, keep in mind, the symbol means not equal. Huh? So I'm going to check is number not equal to 999. Then I have sum already done, counter done, number done, average another variable. And then there is an output in this program as well. So draw the dry run, or else known as trace table as well. What you're going to do is you're going to have one column each for each variables, one column each for each conditions. And apart from that, for the output, you can have one common column. So you can see for sum, counter, number, average, for each variable, I'm having one column. I'm going to add that in another column as well. Let's start doing this program. First, they are saying sum equals 0. So I'm going to say sum is 0. Then they are saying counter equals 0. So I'm going to say counter is 0. Then they are saying input number. The question says the first number we're going to enter is 5. So I enter 5 here. Done. And then they're saying while number is not equal to 999. So you can see 5 is not equal. So I'm going to mention true. And they have used a while loop here. Always keep in mind about the World Trade Center. While true, you have to continue. So the while, if the condition here is true, you're going to continue the loop. Continue means you're going to repeat all these instructions. So first one they have mentioned sum is equal to sum plus number. Sum is 0, number is 5. So sum plus number is going to be how much? Currently you can see the value of sum is 0. The value of number is 5. So sum plus number is, yes, sum plus number is going to give you 5. Then we have counter equals counter plus 1. So based on that, tell me what's going to be the new value of counter variable. Counter plus 1 means how much? Counter is at the moment you can say 0. So counter plus 1 is how much? See, counter is 0, right? So counter plus 1 is 1. 0 plus 1 is 1. Then we have input number. The question says second number is 12. So I'm going to mention 12. Always in a while loop, whenever you reach the end while, you again go and check the condition. So again, I'm going to check is number not equal to 999. Number is 12. If I check is 12 not equal, that's going to give me true. I'm going to repeat sum equals sum plus number. So sum plus number is 5 plus 12, which is 17. Count equals count plus 1. Input number is number not equal to 999. Sum equals sum plus number 24. Count equals counter plus 1. Input number, next number is 20. Is 20 not equal to 999? True. Sum equals sum plus number 44. Count equals counter plus 1. 4. Input number 999. While number is not equal to 999. Now if I go and check, is number not equal to 999? Will that condition give me true or false? I'm going to check, is it not equal to 999? That's going to give me false. So while loop, when this condition give me false, the program is going to stop. The loop is going to stop. And whatever instruction after the while loop is going to execute. So after the while loop, we have a average is equal to sum divided by counter. Sum is 44, counter is 4. So based on that, what will be the value of average? Average is going to be 11. So I write 11 here. And they're saying output average. So the output is going to be 11. If you draw the dry run, you can easily find out the answer is 11. Tell me all if you're clear how I found the answer. Yes or no? How did you get 4 into 44? Where is 4 into 44? The value is 5, 12, 7, 20. I got it from here by running this program. Nice. Perfect. So if you feel, always have the habit of doing the dry run to get these questions very easily. What is the exact purpose of the above pseudocode? You can, it looks like finding the average of 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. No. For the average, one purpose you can say find the average of 4 numbers that are not equal to 100, 999. You can say the purpose is finding average of 4 numbers. So finding average of numbers, finding average of numbers until or finding the average of the numbers entered, finding the average of numbers entered of numbers entered until 999 is entered, or find the average of all numbers entered until number 999 is entered, something like this. What if you say finding average, no marks? The purpose of this program is not to just find numbers. You can see it's finding numbers until the user enters 999. You see, once the user entered 999, the whole program stopped. So after it stops, it gave me the average of the numbers entered. So you can say finding the average of all numbers entered until 999 is entered. Got it, all of you? Perfect. What will happen when number is equal 999 is used instead of number is not equal 900 condition in that pseudocode. Okay. Now in this question, they had a not equal 999. If it is number equal to 999, you can see when the program was executing for the first time, okay, the value of number was, they said how much? The first time the program had executed, what was the value of number? It was 5. So when you come and check, while 5 is equal 999, will this condition give you true or false? It's going to give you false. So if that condition gives you false, okay, will that loop continue? No, right? So you can mention if that number equal, if it was instead of number not equal, if it was number equals, what will happen is the loop will not be executed. Loop means repetition. Okay, so the while loop will not be executed. This whole thing is repeating. No, this whole thing will not be executed if that condition is false. If that number was equal to 999. Is that clear, all of you? How did you get 11? 44 divided by 4. See, they have mentioned here average is equal to sum divided by counter. Sum was 44, counter was 4. So 44 divided by 4 is 11. Next. The Fibonacci, anyone having any other questions here? Yeah, sir. WhatsApp me as now later. Next. The Fibonacci sequence is a series in which number is the sum of the two numbers before it. It usually starts with 0. The Fibonacci sequence is given as 0, 1, 1, 2, 3, blah, 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 blah. Okay, these are Fibonacci sequence. Fine. The numbers of the Fibonacci sequence are also called Fibonacci numbers. The following flowchart with the blanks A to F shown the algorithm for printing, blah, 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 blah. Okay. So they're asking to find what are the values A to F. Now, the thing is, at the end of the day, the program has to print something like this: 0, 1, 1, 2, 3, 5, 8, something like that. Okay. And it's going up to 144, which means in this programming, we're going to print the Fibonacci sequence between 0 to 155, or else 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13. The first 13, something like that. Okay. 0 to 140, sorry, 140, between 0 to 145, or between from 0 to 144. Let's say that. So if you start like that, you can see read A. They are asking the user to enter something. So up to an integer input from the keyboard. Okay, up to an integer. So they're saying up to an integer input, which means we are going to ask the user how many times he wants to, what do you call how many times he wants to, how many Fibonacci sequence, how many Fibonacci numbers he wants. So A is going to be num here. The reason I said num is A is num is because you can see here is num greater than or equal to x. So that means they have used here a variable called num, right? They have used here a variable called num. And if you check before these statements, anywhere they are not given a value for num. So before this, there is nowhere they have given a num. So I'm going to say A as num. Read num means we're going to ask the user to enter num. Indirectly, what we're doing is we're asking the user how many times he wants the Fibonacci sequence to execute. What is Fibonacci? Go and read this first line, you get the answer. Okay. And then we have B and C. Now, if you go through the program, first of all, it's printing X and then printing Y. So let's say X is 0 because X, the first Fibonacci sequence is 0. So it's printing X and Y now. So I'm going to say X is 0 and Y is 1. The reason I did that is because that's the first value and the next value. Then Z is equal to X plus Y. So let's say if X is 0 and Y is 1, Z is equal to X plus Y. So Z is going to be 1. Then print the value of F. So it's going to print the value of Z. So I'm going to say, sorry, B and C, not X and Y. This should be B and C. B is 0, C is 1. And then is number greater than or equal to X? If the number is greater than or equal to X, the number is, what is the question? Are they asking number of numbers or are they asking about the, because here X is going to store, so no, X is going to store the number or the last number. Yeah. Yeah. The Fibonacci numbers up to an integer number. So basically, if you enter number 8, it's going to give you all the Fibonacci numbers up to 8. That is 0, 1, 1, 2, 3, 5, 8. If you enter 5, it's going to give you 0, 1, 1, 2, 3, 5. If you enter 55, it's going to give you all the Fibonacci numbers from 0, 1 up to 55. It's going to give. So based on that, if number is greater than or equal to X, okay, if the number is greater than or equal to x, the program has to stop. Or else only, what do you call the, yeah, because you can see below, no, if it's greater, if the number is greater than x, is 0 greater than, oh no, yes. As long as the number is greater, no, let's say I enter number 8, as long as number is greater only, it repeats. So E is going to be yes and D is going to be no. D is going to be no, E is going to be yes. So as long as the number is, what do you call, greater than or equal to x, we're going to find the value of z and print the value of z, and x equals y plus z, blah, 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 blah. Yeah. Okay. Fun fact, I said this question now only. This is the first time I'm doing this question, right? So you can see how long it took for me to process this question. If you read the question properly, they are saying the purpose of this algorithm is to print the Fibonacci numbers up to an integer number from the keyboard. So first of all, we're going to ask the user to enter a number. Let's say the user enters 8 below. Now up to 8, the Fibonacci numbers we have are 0, 1, 1, 2, 3, 5, and 8. The reason I was able to find that B is 0 and C is 1. Okay. If you ask me how did I know that B is 0 and C is 1, the next step you can see they're printing X and Y. Right? So if you notice here, the first two numbers that's going to get displayed as 0 and 1. In the Fibonacci sequence, the first two numbers that's going to get displayed as 0 and 1. So I took X as 0, that's why. That's why I said B is 0. And I said Y as 1 is because the next number after 0 is going to get displayed is 1. Right? So up to here, tell me, are you clear? What is it going to be as num? Num is going to be the last number. For example, here you can see like up to this number, all the Fibonacci numbers. Now, for example, imagine I'm asking you like to enter a number, and up to that number, all the odd numbers I'm going to display. So let's say, for example, 1, 3, 5, 7, like that. So I'm asking you to enter the last number, like the up to which number you want, like what is the last number, something like that. Now here it's not about odd numbers, here it's about Fibonacci numbers. So here the word num is representing like until what number the Fibonacci numbers you want. It's like here, for example, until 8, all the odd numbers, here until which num you want, something like that. Right? The reason I said X and Y is X is the first, you can see print X, Y now. First it's printing X, then it's printing Y. Now, as per the given sequence, the first value that's going to repeat is 0. The next value that's going to repeat is 1. That's why I took X as 0. So when you say print X, 0 is going to get displayed. And that's why I took C as 1. So when you say print Y, 1 is going to get displayed. That's why I took X as 0 and B as 0 and C as 1. Up to here, is it clear all of you? What if the input is 0? If the input is 0, then only 0 is going to get displayed. Only 0 and 1 is going to get displayed. Not 0, yeah, only 0 and 1. 0, 1 and actually 0, 1, 2 is going to get displayed. Because X is 0. Yeah, technically 0, 1, 2 is going to get displayed. Sorry, 0, 1, 1 is going to get displayed. Sorry. If X is 0, 0, 1, 1 is going to get displayed. If you run the algorithm, you will know 0, 1, 1 is getting it displayed. Because Z is equal to X plus Y. So X is 0, Y is 1, 0 plus 1 is 1. So 1 is going to get displayed, and yeah, 0, 1, 1. How do you know X is equal to 0? The reason is because when I saw this statement, I saw here print X, Y. As per the Fibonacci sequence, the first two numbers in the Fibonacci sequence is 0 and 1. Fibonacci sequence something like this, man. If you don't understand the Fibonacci sequence, it's like this. It's like triangular numbers only. So if I put 0, 1, it will have the sum of the next two digits. So 0 plus, no, first digit is 0, second is 1, no. 0 plus 1 will give you 1. The next digit will be the neighbor's addition. So 1 plus 1 is going to give you 2. So this is going to be 2. Now here these two neighbors are 2 and 1. 2 plus 1 is 3. Here the neighbors are 2 and 3. 2 plus 3 is 5. Here the neighbors are 5 and 3. 5 plus 3 is 8. Here the neighbors are 5 and 8. 5 plus 8 is 13. This is called Fibonacci sequence. Haven't you learned this in maths? Then 8 and 13. That's going to give you 21. It's a neighbor's additions. This is all something you know in maths basically. Sad life. In grade 6, exactly. Okay. So what do you call, that's why why I took was B as 0 and C as 1, because they have mentioned print xy. So as per the Fibonacci sequence, any number you have, the first two is going to be 0 and 1 anyways. So that's why I said x as 0, because that's the first value that's going to get printed. I took y as 1 because that's the second value that got printed. Got it, all of you? And then there are certain, and this program has to continue until a specific situation, right? So here they have mentioned is num greater than or equal to x. So as long as the number entered, let's say I entered 8, as long as 8 is greater than or equal to x, in our situation 0. Okay, as long as 8 is greater, it has to repeat. So it is again and again repeat. This, what is happening inside is, you can see it is giving a value for the next variable and it's printing the next number. So the next number has to be printed only if this number is like a large number. That's why I took ES yes and DS no, because then program stops. And if I took Z, because we are finding Z here, we are printing the next number. If you all draw the dry run for this program, you'll understand. You should know Fibonacci sequence for you to be able to understand this program. That's the first requirement. But if you read this sentence, you can understand what you mean by Fibonacci sequence. But again, I tell you all, this is the first time I did this question as well. You all saw how long it took for me to process this question. That's the amount of time you all also have to consume. Anyways, tell me you understand how I found the remaining answer as well. It's just that you read the question again and again and again and you figure it out. Like 20 minutes. No. It took me, I think, maximum around 5 to 10 minutes. 5 minutes for me to process the answer. Explain is it took around 20 minutes. For me to find that A, B, C, D, E, F, it just took me around 5 minutes. But anyways, just go through my answers. Put my values I given for A, B, C, D, put it to the respective labels and see, does it make sense? All of you. Yes or no? Right. So that is there with the programming question. If you have any question, you can ask. So yeah, with that actually we're done for the day. If you have any question, you can stay and ask. Others you can leave. You can leave. Easiest name. Yeah, that's what I mentioned here. Easiest. See, show the first page. Yeah. I'll put the PDF in the channel. You can check in the WhatsApp channel. It will be there. Can you explain the third question, row number 4A part? In the row number 4, they're asking the relationship between the instruct table and course table. Is that what you're asking for? Okay, give me a minute. Okay. They're asking the relationship between instructor table and course table. No? Let's go for the instructor table. If you take one specific instructor, for example, let's take the person called Saman. Instructor and course. Take one instructor, how many courses can he teach? Tell me that. Because the connection instructor and course has, instructor teaches courses. He can teach many courses. If you take one specific course, for example, I'll take this English course which we have here. One course can be taught by how many teachers? One teacher, how many teacher? It can be taught by only one teacher. So when they ask you the relationship of two tables, you check both the perspectives from here to there as well as there to here as well. Then if both the sides are like 1 and 1, you put 1 here. If it has m, you put m. So technically speaking, the relationship between the instructor table and the course table is a one to many relationship. That's how I found it. One teacher, one instructor can teach many courses. That's the relationship. Got it? If you see as example, you can see here, Bimal has teaching many courses such as Japanese as well as French. One teacher is teaching many courses. Maximum value is one. Yes, maximum value is 127, and what do you call number of characters? 128 behind. I think I switched earlier. I recorrected that as well. Anyone having any other questions? Anyone having any other questions? Yeah, I'll post the field PDF and the recording all those stuffs in the channel, so you can check in the master ID WhatsApp channel and get the PDF there. Field and the not field were both as it. Okay. Hmm. Abdul Qadir. I think I did not check. I not still open my WhatsApp. I'll check a little later. Okay. So as there's no other questions, I'm going to end the meeting. Again, if there's anything, feel free to WhatsApp me and get things clarified. Okay. I hope you'll have my number. 277 9798 9798, and you can get your things clarified. Okay. I was wondering who the hell is that person. Anyways, I'm going to end the meeting. What do you mean? Check your paper. You mean the recorrection? No, the recorrection of papers I didn't still do. I'll be doing that and I'll let you all know. Don't worry. Okay. Okay. I'm going to end the meeting. If there's anything, just WhatsApp me and get things clarified.